Hello and welcome to episode 189 of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
And Jeff, E3 is over. It's over and dead. We put it in its grave.
Fine.
Never coming back until it comes back.
All hail Summer Game.
All hail Jeff Keighley, the one true God, for bringing us Elden Ring.
Exactly.
That's all
That's all that truly matters.
We're gamers, so that's the only thing we needed for sustenance. I haven't even eaten since that trailer came out. I don't need to. We're good.
You better go see a doctor.
Oh, Jeff, how the hell are you?
I'm pretty good, Darry. How are you?
I'm doing good, too. We're ready to talk about E3. This is probably going to be a doozy of an episode.
Yes, especially since, we'll go ahead and say this right now, this is kind of, in a way, our part one of the podcast this week. We talk about the news of E3. When some point in the next week, we are going to sit down and talk about the games we've been playing and demos. Because by golly, there are a lot of them. I think I have like 7 things to talk about.
Jeez, so yeah, you haven't even talked about Village.
I finished Village and I haven't talked about it yet. And then there's Ratchet, Final Fantasy VII, and we will close with Final Fantasy VII Remake integrate, so we can go into spoiler talk.
Of course.
And yeah, there's a couple demos from E3. Chaos.
Chaos.
Chows.
Oh boy, silly stuff. Yeah, so just get ready, strap in. It's gonna be a doozy. Make sure, if you haven't already, check out our E3 2021 coverage, including post-conference discussions, where we'll probably go more in depth individually to these different conferences than we will in this episode. Yeah. And we had amazing guests. We had Holden, departed from Respawn Aim Fire on everything because he is the homie.
Yeah,
the absolute homie. We had Britt Gillihan from a bunch of different podcasts and awesome stuff on Twitter, and he guests on everything. He's great. And we had our very own Jacob Hamill.
Yep.
And
a couple things.
Yeah, a few things. But yeah, it's a big shout out to Holden for just being on absolutely everything. It was great.
And he was willing to just come in after our late Nintendo Direct reaction just to talk.
Yep.
And he got some stuff he really wanted.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. So definitely go watch all that stuff and go watch Respawn Empire because they're doing their own post E3 discussion. So check that totally out. But Jeff, yeah, go ahead.
Well, Darby, let's start with our opening segment, which a very infrequent one because it only happens when something particular happens.
Wrong thing. Oh no, where to put it? There it is.
We are ranking the new Smash trailer for Kazuya Mishima from Tekken, getting into Smash Bros.
Exciting.
Yep.
Exciting shit.
Yep, Derby. But so that's where we're going to talk about the Smash character.
Yes.
And get into that, and then we're going to rank that trailer amongst this list. So, Derby, what do you think of Kazuya getting into Smash?
Well, obviously, I don't really have any Tekken nostalgia or Tekken history.
I'm not doing this to call you out.
Yeah.
But you were like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I didn't. I'm just trying to, if anyone stumbles upon our stuff, I'm just like laying it bare. I literally didn't even know who the guy was. Like you say, it was Hiyachi's son. I'm like, cool. But I do know that like Tekken is obviously one of the most influential and just like biggest name, best-selling fighting games of all time. And it slots perfectly in with when you already have Ryu and Ken and Terry in here. It's perfect. It makes perfect sense.
I can't remember where I mentioned it. It might have been one of the discussions or when me and you were just talking off camera. But Tekken obviously deserves in it, and it kind of felt weird in a way. No disrespect to Terry, because he obviously deserves it, and he's a blast to play. But in some ways, it felt weird that Terry got in without Tekken in there, because I feel like Tekken is kind of the next obvious one after Street Fighter, especially since finally Banco's got a second rep. Yeah, it was a long time coming. I kind of threw that out at this point. That may just wouldn't happen, but it did.
I was going that way too, yeah.
And as far as the Kazuya being the Tekken choice, it makes sense, but also might be slightly surprising. I think Hiyachi is, to a lot of people, the obvious pick. But for multiple reasons, I think Kazuya works better as far as moveset potential because he has his devil form, which Hiyachi, spoilers, cannot transform to a devil. And Kazuya is arguably a bigger protagonist, quote unquote, because he's kind of technically he's another bad guy we got on this roster because he's pretty evil for the most part. So got that in there, and also they might have not picked Hiachi because his second voice actor passed away. His original one passed away, and then his replacement has passed away in the past couple years. So, and his story ended in Tekken, so they just might retire Hiachi, at least for the time being.
It's definitely a thing more in Japanese culture for sure.
Yeah, and Kazuya just again makes sense. You know, argue Hiachi, but it's got to be one of those.
He does. It's not like not ill-fitting or something. Maybe not the first choice, but it's not like yeah.
So some people that would be the first choice, but at the very least, second choice easy. Maybe other than Jin, but
yeah. Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, I think part of this is definitely, Sakurai's like love for fighting games, but I think that more shows with Terry. I think this is one that could have just been in anyway, regardless of what Sakurai wants, just because it's Tekken, and I think that's huge.
His love for Tekken and fighting games in general will come out in that moveset from what we've seen already, because there's like a gajillion moves, and I'm prepared to just be playing Tekken.
Well, at this point with the DLC fighters, like, we have every reason to just believe that, like, they seem to keep one-upping themselves with the DLC characters, and they've thrown the like any rule set they had or limitations they had for Smash as a game and how they could design characters, pretty much threw all that out of the window for the DLC fighters, and like he's able to add mechanics, add layers, add these like installs, all this other crazy stuff with the DLC things. So when a trailer like this shows all those moves, that just makes me feel like, yeah, you literally probably do Tekken inputs to do this shit. And I'm just expecting that.
Well, the thing is, I'm curious about, and I'm excited to see the Sakurai thing, which we will obviously talk about the week after it happens. Go a little more in depth in that, is because Tekken uses all 4 buttons and it controls individual limbs. Like you have you have like 2 for your legs and 2 for your arms and stuff. And Smash only has 2 attack buttons.
Yeah.
I've seen some people think that maybe one will be for like A will control arms and B will control legs, and you do stuff to do specials potentially. Yeah. Which would be insane for Smash.
What if he doesn't even have traditional specials?
Exactly.
Yeah. What if it's just all like combo is all things that you chain together, like he doesn't have a side special.
And I love it, as you're saying, for DLC characters. Alpharad posted his reaction, and him and his buddy Joe, who he does a lot of stuff with, that when his moveset was showing and he turned to double form and did combo, he's like, DLC character.
Yep.
Because that's the thing, and I absolutely love it. Every single DLC character to varying degrees have a mechanic that is theirs and theirs alone.
Yep. Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, and it's the type of thing that I'm sure when he comes out, you're gonna look back at Ryu and be like, "Damn, it's like this is very basic in comparison."
I mean, I think depending on how far they go with it, man, look at Terry when someone to do that. Terry was just kind of a, crazier Ryu, but if they're doing what it looks like potentially with Kazuya, that's going to look like child's play, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the ultimate send-off for the fighting game representation of Smash. I'm just assuming that there's not going to be another one for the next one. So
I don't even know who would be. The best one, honestly, I can think of is Soul Bad Guy from Guilty Gear. Would be the only one I think
which would be cool.
I would throw out Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat's a non-entity in Japan, so that's just not happening.
Probably not.
I'd love it, but
probably not, Yeah, so I think very excited. I'm very, very like this is probably one of the most interested I've been just to see how this works, just to see what exactly is going on here, because they definitely kind of just like dropped it on the table with like showing off all those moves, but the fact that we didn't get to see the full Sakurai Presents thing, it's like, even though he's probably one of the characters I'm least excited about, just from me personally knowing the character, as far as just playing the game, it's like I'm just so curious to see how this works. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Tekken music, let's go. But yeah, Terry, we gotta talk about that trailer. That's the whole thing in there.
Absolutely.
What the segment is about. We gotta slot that trailer into this list.
Yeah, let me.
I really like this trailer. It's kind of one of those fun things. The reveal of the character actually happened much quicker, it seems like, than a lot of the other recent ones, for sure.
Definitely.
Which was, I think, good, especially for what they were going for. But it was also kind of like, for people who know Tekken, I think I can't remember exactly when I caught it. I felt like I caught it kind of before, at least the Tekken part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And just other people were like, oh, this is Tekken, because that is a very iconic Tekken thing.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
People don't know, for Kazuya, when he was a child, Heihachi threw him off a cliff. And then when Kazuya grew up, Kazuya threw Heihachi in a volcano. I think that's the way
it's the most fighting game plot I've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's great.
They did all that kind of fun stuff. And there's obviously...
Oh yeah,
is that for?
I mean, I think there's something to be said of like kind of mixing up the formula, and like this time it was like the kind of hook thing about the trailer wasn't necessarily to reveal the character; it was the gag, it was the funny thing they're doing, and it was like kind of a good change of pace after Sephiroth, which was so much like, what's going on here? What's going on? Oh shit!
Yeah, and with Pyra and Mythra as well. Which,
yeah, that was even longer of a teasing you along.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that if you're a Tekken fan, you get it's like, oh yeah, that nod. And for people who don't know Tekken, it's just a very funny gag. Just, oh shit, he threw Ganondorf off of a volcano. Oh shit, he beat you down the Falcon. No, and then just going to the montage of just him throwing.
And it's paced so perfectly because it's like super serious. And it's like, oh shit, Ganondorf's dead. And he tosses him out there. It's like, what the hell is going on? And then it quickly becomes just a comedy thing when it's like all the other different characters that he's tossing. And the Min gets caught on his foot. It's like,
and then obviously ending with Kirby.
Yeah, no, it was as far as like the comedic Smash trailers, this is definitely, I think, one of the best that was up there. So I don't know, Jeff, where are you looking to start? We can just try to slot this in there pretty quick. I can be flexible with this one for sure.
I know we did this for the last one, but it's just getting better with these trailers. I mean, they've been great with these trailers for a while. Like, no lower than A, obviously, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
As far as
I think probably a high A. Probably I haven't looked too hard here, but
okay, I guess we can just start at a place and just kind of go up and see what we think. Do we think it's better than Ridley/Pyra Mythra? What are you feeling about that?
I think it's better than... Yeah, this is kind of weird because I think I would probably put Ridley above Pyra and Mythra. So that gets a little weird. Definitely Pyra and Mythra. Ridley, I could be convinced either way. I mean, I think Ridley's badass, but yeah, I probably would put it above Ridley.
Okay. Better than Mies.
Yeah, that's the fight, right? That's Reggie fighting Iwata. These are two so different things that we're comparing.
Yeah.
Completely polar opposite things. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not. But
yeah, it's...
I mean, the thing is pretty great. The Reggie Iwata thing.
I kind of agree.
I'm okay with there. I mean,
putting over Pyra and Mythra.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Again, personally, I would have Ridley. I would have Ridley and it above Pyra and whatever. But like, that's close enough, you know. Yeah.
All right, we got it. We're
all right, there it is.
Will the final trailer beat the me threshold?
This is the gatekeeper right here. Reggie and Iwata is the gatekeeper for Smash trailers.
Alrighty.
Good shit.
So Darby, let's get to the other thing. Darby, I don't know if you remember, but we did this little thing called Fantasy Critic.
Yeah, oh shit.
We haven't updated in a while.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it.
I gotta update you on some things.
Oh boy.
Okay, so let's start with
I know I can cut freaking Breath of the Wild because they did, which is good.
I should have counterpicked it, but I didn't. I was a coward.
Well, you counterpicked God of War, which
I should have been
screws me up.
I should have put my balls on the table and picked both.
Yeah, you should have picked both. Yeah.
Since the last time we did an update, Darby has gotten Mario Golf, Super Rush, and Life is Strange True Colors. Mario Golf coming out soon, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I won't go over individual points. We can do overall points where we're at the end. I went on a spending spree last night, Darby.
Oh boy.
Let's start with ones that I've gotten since last time.
I should have gotten on there right after
E3. I was kind of like 50-50. Like, did Darby remember?
Nope,
so I spent a good bit of money on a couple of these games.
Completely forgot.
I picked Nobody Saves the World from the Guacamelee devs.
Okay, that's very good. I completely forgot about that game. That was good.
Lost Judgment I picked up after it was announced.
Probably good.
It was like especially for a pickup. I just looked at the Judgment and was like,
yeah, that's solid. Yeah, solid.
In the 80s. Shin Megami Tensei 5.
Also,
after that release date leaked, I'm like,
yep,
mine.
Also very good.
So this is what I did last night.
And
I picked up 6 games.
Yeah, Jeff's gonna win. FYI, I'm just letting you know.
I picked up Age of Empires 4.
Very, very smart. Very wise.
Lone Echo 2. This is a VR game.
Okay, yeah. I
It's
know
a very
people talk about
Lone Echo is considered one of the best VR games. Its first game scored like an 89.
Gotcha.
So
yeah,
I was like,
sounds good.
Yeah. Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah. Jeff's gonna run away with the shit.
Inscription. This is a game from the Devolver's Digital thing. It looks. You need to look up at that at some point.
Okay.
Like this is a. Jacob likes weird shit. This is weird shit. I don't know, but this is a Jacob ass game I've ever seen.
All right.
And their first game, I forgot the name of it, scored like 86 on Metacritic. So I was like, I'm grabbing this. Far Cry 6, I'm not as sure about, but I think low 80s.
Oh yeah, I think there's a floor that it won't go down.
The spin-offs, like mid ones, like Primal and New Dawn don't score as well, but the number ones.
Yeah, I think that's decently safe.
And I grabbed Metroid Dread.
Yeah, very good. No, Jeff's gonna win. So
I only have 3 slots left.
Nice.
I had trouble thinking of other ones, and I just like, okay, I'll save a couple just in case. But I spent a good amount of money. I think I put like 15 into Dread.
Yeah.
Just to hope.
I've not spent more than $2 on anything I've bought, so
I have 54 left.
Nice. Yeah, I am an idiot, and I forgot about that. And I have God of War, a big weight on my ankles there.
Yeah, so you got about 10 slots to fill.
Bummer.
So that's the way it is right there. Our current scores at this point are 84 for me, 24 for Darby. And though I will say I've had 2 more games released than he has at the moment. Yep. That's where we're at for that, Darby. Figured I was waiting to see because I saw it updated 8 before we got it. It's like, okay, let's wait to see. Okay, it updated. I can do this thing for the podcast.
Sad.
Let's go. Okay, Darby. Let's get into the big thing. Let's talk about E3. We've got a couple big E3 topic things we can kind of talk about. You know, there's probably going to be a pretty free-flowing conversation.
Yes.
But let's start with, I think, an easy thing, Darby. Good place to start. What did you think of E3 overall and Summer Game Fest? Rolling all into one.
I mean, it is kind of a complicated question to answer, really. But I mean, honestly, for me personally, it was not that bad. I mean, but that was also, I think, partially because I strategically watched things. I did not watch things that I didn't care about, and I skipped past a lot of things. I watched very few things live, and when I watched things after the fact, if I didn't care about something, I didn't make myself go through it. So like, I think that definitely colors things. So for me, it was like Xbox, very solid. Nintendo, more than solid. And like Keely's thing, a lot of it I don't think was anything that special, but I only watched the things that I did think were special. It's kind of the same thing with everything else. I think all the indie showcases were very solid. You know, like overall, I think it was a average, in some ways maybe slightly below average E3, which is fine. I mean, I think there was some good stuff. I mean, especially for a pandemic year and everything. I'm not super salty about it. I think it was fine. You know?
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you for the most part. Overall, you know, kind of saw it maybe down a little below thing. I think mine and your expectation, a lot of people were going into this were kind of in the right place with the idea of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff and who's there and who's not. I mean, there's some things that we're about to shit on. That could have been a lot better, should have been. But as a whole, like you said, Nintendo and Microsoft had very good conferences overall. And some of the indie showcases, the Wholesome Direct was good.
Yeah.
Tribeca's showcase was good. I think Gorilla, from what I saw, did a better job as far as keeping it kind of more tight. Yeah,
we'll say if there's anything like a positive that came from this E3 is I feel like this is the biggest spotlight I've seen shown on indies at E3. Usually E3 is just not really the place the indies can really get their name out there as well, because it just kind of seems like there's just not as much space for them or whatever. I mean, it happens, but it felt like this year there was more attention. At least it just seemed like it to me in our circles, which was cool.
Indeed. So, yeah, that's kind of where they're at. So if you want to, we can kind of talk about some of our favorite showcase, maybe go a little into them.
Yeah, let me pull up. Yeah, I mean, I think I can probably speak for both of us and say my favorite showcase was Nintendo's for sure.
Yes, I would probably say Nintendo's my favorite, but if I had to be critical, maybe Microsoft was the best. Just the reason I say that is Nintendo, and this is the way they're kind of set up, and I can see why people can be critical of this. It was a lot more. It was still very port heavy, and while there are more big games that people kind of latched onto, partly because they're coming out close in gameplay, Microsoft did. I wouldn't look at their thing and say a lot of their shows like kind of all killer no filler kind of thing. Like everything was kind of interestingly somewhat and new and all that. While Nintendo had like the Dragon Ball Z Kakarot port,
that is true,
and all that kind of stuff.
That's true. They both have their pros and cons. I mean, honestly, they even like saying who won is just not even that like the best discussion or whatever. But it's like because Xbox had the Xbox. My problem or whatever with a lot of Xbox's showcases, there was a lot of CG trailers or just like trailers that really told you nothing about the game. And because the game is like super far out, and it's like there's an element of that to where it's like Xbox really needs to show what they're packing right now, and I like it was somewhat unavoidable that they like I understand why they feel like they had to show these games even if they're super early just to establish, hey, we're okay, this is what we have coming forward. But I mean, regardless of the reasoning, that type of thing can bite you because, like, that's where the video game industry expectations will get in stupid, weird places they never should be when a lot of people get really excited about a game that they've seen nothing of. They've seen, like, a tone piece and they don't know what the game is. Like, I've seen... And I don't want to, like, fault people for being excited because, like, there's things like Redfall. I think, like, yeah, the trailer was, like, kind of interesting tone piece or whatever, but it's, like, I've listened to like 3 different podcasts and they all are completely convinced it's like 3 different types of games. Yeah. And I'm like, that's where you get into trouble with these sort of trailers. You know what I mean? And I do think like Xbox had a problem with that sort of thing. But that being said, I think there was a lot of cool things there. I mean, it was another great Game Pass ad for sure.
Yeah, you're talking about indies. There were a lot of good indies in there and definitely high quality ones. And the vast majority of them are going to be on Game Pass. I would say a bombshell, Back 4 Blood's going to be on Game Pass day one.
That's huge.
I'm excited for that.
Huge.
And yeah, you definitely can't fault them for the CGI trailers. It's kind of funny though. After all that, we saw Starfield, people were hyping up that. We just got a CGI trailer, and they even gave a date, but it's a year and a half away.
Yeah, and I mean the thing about Starfield is I still want to know because like it looked like such a grounded trailer, like not really out there RPG sci-fi stuff or whatever. So I'm like, so what are we doing? Are we fighting things? Is it more of a sim, like interstellar like flight, like space sim thing? Or whatever, because like, I'm just interested. I mean, I think a lot of people are excited about it, but I'm just wondering because like from that trailer, it almost looks like something that's like, are like the mass audience of people going to be interested in the game where they're not shooting aliens and shit? It's like
I'm not surprised that they're not shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I would be too, but it's like that trailer didn't show you anything at all.
Like nothing. The main thing is like be surprised shooting. It's probably because it's a Bethesda Studios game.
No, I would be too, but it's like, but if you just looked at that trailer and you knew nothing else,
I agree with you.
Would be like, saying, so what is the If I just looked at that trailer, I would think like, oh, this is like you're exploring space.
Yeah,
peacefully.
No, I agree. If you take out the publisher and developer and stuff, you would think maybe he's a No Man's Sky type thing, which I know has some shooting, but not really too much.
No, it's not like
the main point of the game.
But I mean, I agree with you. I think that's where it'll be. And again, I don't want to fault people because I mean, I think it did look cool. Like I get that there's a lot of big Bethesda fans,
and some strangely enough, sooner than I thought. Before Jeff Grubb started bringing up.
Yeah, people were way off with the whole like it's coming in a few months thing. Like that was obviously completely fake, but still, in the grand scheme of things, not that long. Weird to get a release date for a game.
We have a release date for Starfield, but not Halo Infinite.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But overall, yeah, I think Nintendo and Xbox were very solid. I also think, just to highlight the one last conference I really want to highlight, I think Tribeca was awesome.
Yes.
It was definitely a different vibe from the other ones, where it's more like we're going to focus on these like six or seven, something like that.
There's 8.
8 games. Okay, we're going to focus on these 8 games and everything. So it was different. Most conferences are like a bunch of things, like over and over, like small snippets of a bunch of things. This was focusing on those, but I think each one of those games was interesting in some way, even if I don't think I'll play them. Most of them I do have an interest in playing, but even the ones I didn't, it was like, this is cool. This is like, I understand why it was here. And I think the dives behind the scenes were actually like way more interesting in that showcase than they have been in other things.
I agree. Yeah. And I think the pacing of it was really well done. I think it was about 50 minutes long, which again, for all they were doing with those 8 games, especially like you saying, they're very interesting, and the actual developers talking was interesting. More interesting than a lot of the other ones. So yeah, I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, between the stop motion thing where it was like, we're a film company, but we wanted to get out of film, and lots of interesting stuff in there. Yeah. I mean, weirdly enough, that's one of the ones that I'm probably not going to play. But I mean, again, even the one, I mean, like, it was just a cool thing to watch.
Yeah,
it was a cool way to spend an hour.
I forget. Probably everything I forgot until I watched it. Lost at Random, which that EA whenever it was shown in there. Yeah, and I'm excited for that game. They released a story trailer afterwards. That got me more excited. Very interested in that game.
Yeah, no, that was just a very strong selection of games. So that was a cool conference to watch, because I felt like yeah,
and even from especially a visual standpoint, it's like none of those games look anywhere close to the same.
right. Yeah, wildly different. Yeah. So it was just, someone did a very good job of like hand selecting, like, we're gonna do those. So those are my top three things. I think
for sure.
I think Wholesome Direct was really cute. I think it was a lot better than previous. Not that previous Wholesome Directs were bad, but I think this was definitely like, oh, there's a lot of like really strong stuff here.
Yep.
But yeah.
Yep. So, and props to Nintendo for, we were talking about CGI with Xbox. I think about every single game in there had, in their trailers showed some gameplay in it at the very least.
And lots of stuff this year, which that is exactly what Nintendo needed. They needed to do that.
I believe there were 4 first-party games that were announced for the first time, coming out, in the next 6 months.
Oh yeah, I mean that, like, we've been talking. I mean, last year was rough for Nintendo. I mean, not for their financials, it was great, but as far as their release slate was like not the best. So the fact that they came out here and it's like, here's a new WarioWare, here's a new Metroid, here's a new Mario Party, unfortunately. So there's that. But as far as what they needed to do, that is it. They needed to have those.
Like, I was curious about the response of it, and like after we watched it live, because we talked to Holden, he really liked it, but I was curious to see how the internet has talked about it, because these are really good fan favorite games, but they're not the biggest franchises in there. Like, Mario Party sold a lot, but it's not like the ones people hold up necessarily as much. So I was curious about it, and generally most people claim Nintendo the fair, because even though these are mainly niche franchises, they are ones people really.
I mean, like we saw last year, they just released like Animal Crossing and like a few other things, and that was well enough to sell. What we're really talking about is like the hardcore people like us, and we're getting a Metroid. So it's like we're getting a new Metroid after a long time. It's like getting a Wario
game after besides that Greatest Hits collection on 3DS, first time in 8 years.
Yeah, so
Game of Wario was the last one. I think I looked. They came out like 2013.
Yeah. That's huge. And I think they showed, we'll get to it obviously later, but I think they showed enough of Breath of the Wild to also please that, like, what we're looking forward to in the future,
And obviously, to go into the gameplay, they had the treehouse afterwards, which was a
very
great welcome comeback. Yeah. I don't know how much of it you watched.
I watched a lot of it now. Okay. I watched like all of Metroid, all of Monster Hunter Stories. I haven't watched Wario or
that's
Super
only 11
Mario
minutes long.
Yeah, I need to.
And I love that, because they were like, don't want to spoil too much. Like, thank you. Yeah. I just kind of wanted to see it to see how in I am, and they kind of teased 9-volt like games, which I don't know if you know, Darby, and other people might know, it's based on other Nintendo games, because he is a gamer. Wow. So there's a Animal Crossing game, a Fire Emblem micro game and all that kind of stuff. Just taking Splatoon.
That's fun.
So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And honestly, I ended up pre-ordering it before I watched it because Target had this thing, buy two get one free. So I got that for Mario Party, WarioWare, and Metroid. But the Mario Party showcase kind of sold me more on that game.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Super Mario Party was a disappointment. There's no doubt about it. But with this one, a case for it, but I'm hoping it'll be better. It only has one additional map board, but only really one less than most other Mario parties have. It usually maxes out at 6.
Yeah,
it's not really that much different. But the difference is, based on the 2 we saw and everything, because these are going to be remade 64 boards, they are going to be more creative and a lot more going on and more diverse than the other ones.
Right.
So, and there are 100 mini games in this, which is more than Super Mario Party, and they are taking the best of the franchise.
Yeah, it does seem like in this one they're like, fuck it, we've never been able to do better than the old Mario parties. We've never been able to come close to it. We always mess it up in some way. So here's literally revamp the shit.
And honestly, like I was, didn't really care too much about the Super Mario Party online because we were just kind of over the game when they announced the line for that. But now I'm thinking about it's like, okay, let's say like Holden gets it or something, or other people get it. Play online with them be fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun. I would just definitely, and I think other people already see making the mistake of not doing this. Just if you're gonna buy it, make sure look at all the content that's in the game right now, and make sure that that's worth $60 to you, because chances are that's all that's going to be in this game.
In my mind, because of that deal, I'm paying $30 for it. Let's go.
I'm saying that it's fine if that's the case. I'm just saying do not expect more content, because it's probably not coming.
I agree with you.
Almost certainly not coming. Yeah. I'm not even saying yes or no to that. I'm just saying make sure that is don't expect anything more, because it ain't coming. It ain't coming.
We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, there we are.
Alrighty.
And then obviously there was a lot of third parties that just had no business doing E3 conferences. We really don't need to talk about it too long, but
I need to rant.
I think the problem of last year, we were it's so spread out and everyone's doing things when maybe not everyone should. That problem is still here. It was just all in 1 week or whatever, but there's still nothing makes me more mad than a company that's just we scheduled the slot. Here's some shit. It's the fact that Gearbox would just announce Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is a game that people are very interested in, as a very interesting concept, and it's coming soon or whatever, this new game, and show nothing new from it at their conference. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you here? You don't have to. No one's making you have a conference. I just really don't understand it. And then Capcom to announce they're doing
a showcase
DLC.
Show Resident Evil 8's going to be there. It's okay. It's just announcing with nothing attached to it. Oh, we're working on DLC after fan demands. This literally could have been a tweet.
And I just personally don't understand it, because these things are not free to put on. They had to spend money to make these showcases.
They had to get money to the ESA, the space, the people.
Why would you do that if you don't have anything?
I know we're not going point by point, but I think it's shit for Capcom. Quickly. Yeah, Resident Evil was nothing, and then announced Reverse coming next month, wherever the hell. They saw Monster Hunter Stories 2, which, again, the game was great, but it was their 5th time showing it.
That's not the conference that I watched it from. I watched the Treehouse. I watched all these other things.
Yeah, and it was really nothing new. Monster Hunter Rise was there. Not really much. Costumes, cool. There's great, Ace Attorney. I mean, that's a good thing to show off because people don't know about as much, but that kind of being the biggest thing there, technically.
That could be in Nintendo's conference. It could be in some other.
And then they teased the beginning. We're going to hear about Capcom's fighting games part of it or whatever. Fighting game teams or whatever. And, they just name it like that, and you're like, okay. Show me what you got, Capcom. And then you're to the end. It's now we're going to talk about fighting game esports. Why didn't you say esports at the beginning? Why say they ended with esports, and they just teased saying the fighting game team or the Capcom fighting game division. It's why don't you put esports in there? You get people's hopes up that point.
Just say that.
Yeah.
Because why would you? I mean, you might as well go ahead and filter the people who are interested in esports, because what's the point in not doing that filter and then just pissing a bunch of people off? It makes no sense.
And it's Square, which is kind of not as bad as Capcom, but they really didn't have enough.
Square is a very interesting one because just before we get out of here, Square content wise, I mean, Final Fantasy Origins is fucking terrible, but we'll get it, whatever. But like overall content wise, Square Enix is honestly not that bad of a showcase. It was just about the worst presentation I've seen, considering like the stuff they had. You could have done a fine showcase, but it was just so weirdly. Here's like fucking 25 minutes of Guardians, and then some other stuff. It was just like, what are we doing here, guys? You know?
Well, and kind of going and adding that to a little bit on paper. If you look at what they have coming up, like Forspoken and Final Fantasy 16, you add those there, and yeah, I mean, regardless of the presentation, the way they decided to present the presentation.
They had enough stuff.
But yeah, that would have been enough stuff to warrant a presentation. Yeah. A shorter one, like a third party.
Yeah, it should have been like a 30-minute nice thing or whatever. Yeah. And half of that Guardian stuff should have been like, hey, for more, go check on YouTube. We have a full gameplay thing. Because they showed like the same type of shit over and over again in Guardians, which I mean, I think that's going to be a big game, and a lot of the stuff looked good, but at some point it was like, we've seen the title card for Guardians like 5 times. We've basically seen like 5 different trailers for this now in a row. It was just like, it was so poorly paced. It was like they just slapped some things together. It was like, I don't know. So these companies have a lot to learn about putting these things on. And I kind of sincerely hope most of them don't come back if they can't do better than that.
Yeah.
Just like, go to Microsoft. It's fine. Just do that. You're probably going to get more eyes on you anyway.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like it could potentially be Microsoft didn't necessarily want them.
That's
because they focused on Game Pass so much.
Well, everything that like Gearbox had could have been tweets and YouTube videos anyway. So like they didn't even have shit.
I think it was technically so Tiny Tina could be at E3 because technically it was shown in Jeff's showcase.
Anyway,
so wasn't it? So yeah, so like it's just a funny thing how kind of dumb the separation of this is. Elden Ring was one of the most talked about games this past week, bar none. No question asked. But it was not eligible for E3 awards because technically not at E3. Okay. Real quick, Bandai Namco had their own showcase. Not till the day before they announced it's just Dark Pictures anthology. So people thinking, okay, we can get more Elden Ring here, maybe see more Tales, or me Digimon Survive.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. You already showed this game off, but cool.
It was outside of the major conferences, it was a clusterfuck. Yeah. It certainly was. And that's definitely something that brings it all down. But major conferences were fine. They were pretty good.
Yeah. A lot of games I want to play on their Game Pass.
Yeah. I'm still glad it happened, and I'm interested in what happens in the future with E3. I mean, I definitely think E3 is not going to die. Like, it's going to be back next year, probably back in person or whatever. I'm interested to see, like, what things stay, what things don't. I still think you might still get some things like the wholesome director, Jeff Keighley, and stuff doing things, like riding the coattails of E3 to do, like, maybe streaming presentations beforehand or something. I could see that staying, you know. So some of these indie brands that have made this name for themselves might still utilize this time. You know, I hope they do.
Yeah.
Because I mean, personally, honestly, the indie side of it, they showed up the actual real E3 showcase of that. So yeah. So now, ladies and gentlemen, me and Jeff have hand selected a list of games that we want to drill down and talk about more that happened at E3. At least me personally, I don't know about Jeff, but I did choose some games that are like the big popular games and everything. There are definitely some games that I am like super duper looking forward to, but maybe we've already seen several times or whatever, so I didn't pick them. I tried to pick ones that I thought had a really good showing at E3 and that maybe are a little more new and interesting, you know, or something that we maybe didn't get. That I got sold on here that we needed more information for some of them, but there's also other ones that are just, you know.
Mine's a mixture of that for sure, and you know, some I'm just excited about and want to talk about more, and just that kind of thing.
Yes. Well, let's get started. I guess I'll go first just because we have it already here. And speaking of maybe slightly
potential spoilers at the top.
Well, the games. Yeah, don't look at that. I am bringing. I had to look. Signalis?
Sure.
Signalis. This was at the Tribeca indie showcase.
Yeah, it was.
It was like the first game. This is a actually pull up my notes. This is like this is an indie horror game thing that's like very retro looking. If you're watching the video, you can see this here or whatever. I think the art style looks really, really cool.
Yes.
There's something about retro looking horror scares me more than realistic horror. I mean, it always has.
See, I was interested in this game for sure. I didn't know. I didn't figure you would be. Like, I figured Jacob would be over this, obviously.
This is something like it has definitely the Resident Evil type of feel of the like you're slowly moving enemies and everything. But the actual stuff around it looks interesting to me. I mean, I think that's the thing about Resident Evil is everything else around Resident Evil is so fucking boring to me. I'm sorry. I mean, this is my most unpopular gaming opinion. I just really don't like Resident Evil's vibe and story. Like the cheesiness and everything doesn't do. This is actually scary. Resident Evil's not scary to me. This is actually fucking scary. And like I'm like I don't know, something about it. It looks more compact than like a Resident Evil. I think it'll be like, there's just things about it. It doesn't look like it would be as tedious. It just kind of, I'm interested to see what the fuck's happening in here. Yeah. Whereas Resident Evil and some other horror games, I couldn't care less what's happening. So that's, you know, kind of where I'm at. Yeah. But yeah, you were interested in this too?
Oh yeah. It's like, wait, did I?
Yeah.
I was wondering, yeah, I put it on that just you know, just so people know, I mean, not that matters so much. I put a list of, I don't know, well over a dozen games for Darby to check out, like, just in case he missed them in these some smaller indie showcase. Obviously, yeah, I put this one there. I put most of the Tribeca games in there that Darby didn't already know about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this whole thing.
That was just a very good...
I was just immediately super interested in this one. Yes. I mean, art style, but like it also just looks like it has room for like cool puzzle things, but the encounters also seem interesting. It seems like you're going to be very kind of like limited in what you can do. It definitely looks like things can fuck you up in this game for sure.
I can't remember. Did they say when this was coming out? Did they put a time on this?
Don't see anything.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll be interested whenever it does. It has like definitely kind of a sci-fi horror thing, which I think I also just vibe with. I vibe more with I think like sci-fi horror than I do necessarily like fantasy gothic horror in a way. I mean, I like both, whatever. Yeah. But like, I mean, same thing I'll say about Metroid Dread. It gives me like Alien or like Dead Space vibes, which is like really, really cool. Like it gives me a lot of Dead Space vibes in a way, like, but obviously very more indie or retro looking. And again, I don't know, it's something with me, but like the weird, like simplistic pixelated art style things, like fucking scare me way more than gritty, like realistic gore and stuff. There's something about like, I don't know, something about the features of things can just look so much more unsettling when it does that. Even like,
no, I feel you, yeah.
Yeah, even like the menu screens, something about the menu screens, it just looks like you're looking at this like old computer. It looks like kind of foreign, like it looks weird. And it's like, even this gives me the vibe that I'm in this like abandoned spaceship that's like fucked up. I don't know. There's just a lot. The vibe is just like really strong. And the art style changes a lot, which I also think is very strong in horror when you have like, yeah, things that change a lot. And like, just look at that thing. The fact that you can only see it from the side and then the light changes so much, it's like, oh, I'm gonna be fucking terrified playing this game.
Or shit's going on with that. Let's go. Cyborgs and shit.
Yeah, and just lots of weird
anime girls.
Yeah, it's hinting at a lot of like weird things, but you don't really know what's going on at all. So it's, I think it looks dope.
Yep. Let's go.
Signalis. Signalis. Definitely gonna forget. Now I'm gonna have to like wishlist this or something. I'm gonna forget about it.
Listen to the description, Dario. Wishlist is on Steam.
Yeah, definitely.
I heard a lot of wishlists on Steam this past week.
I need to go do that immediately because I'm gonna lose track of all these freaking games.
Same.
But how about me bringing a horror game? I can like horror. I'm just kind of hit or miss. I mean, this is the type of psychological. I like the horror that gets in your head. I guess. I guess horror is something that like I'm actually slightly less gameplay centric on, like, yeah. I want to be psychologically fucked up. So it's my horror.
Like in Shadow the Hedgehog.
Like in Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
The best psychological horror game.
Yep. All right, Derby. I'm also bringing a very small indie horror game.
Not many people know about it.
Yeah. It's called The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, name to be determined. They got a name, they're just not letting us know.
It's a spoiler name, apparently.
Yeah, apparently we'll all figure it out because we're smarty pantses.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think this is an obvious one for me to bring. We finally got to see Breath of the Wild again. I was worried that, I'd potentially be here, but we don't see much. This is a short trailer, but it's one of those, you watch it a couple times, especially. It's like there's a lot here to kind of lean on and speculate on things, especially, Zelda and Zelda fans. They like their lore.
Oh, yeah.
They like their secrets. And immediately, it's like, okay, time travel and stuff is involved in this.
Well, especially when it's a game that's so much about the geography in the world and like how that's going to be different this time. So it's like anytime you show shots and stuff, people can like glower at things, and it's just, for all our hype about this, we really don't know much about like what exactly is going to be different in the sequel or whatever. So it is fun to like super analyze everything. Like I'm sure this shot people have like stared at for hours. Yep. Just trying to like find shit. So yeah, what do you got for me, Jeff?
Okay, so obviously, I like how immediately it shows, like, once we get into the actual gameplay spot, we got this little cinematic that is kind of, just from the last trailer. Just a little different. And then we get into the actual gameplay part, and Link is falling from the sky, which is, like, of course, people are like, wait, Skyward Sword? Because they just showed that. And then you see these sky islands, because everyone's thinking, maybe.
I think your mic is, like, not picking.
No.
Thought we were done with this.
But obviously, people were really thinking, because of the way the castle arrives and the cavern that they were in the last trailer, that we'll be in Upper Hyrule, but we might be underground a lot. Yeah. Nintendo's like, no, fuck you and your theories. We're going to the sky.
They read all that and they're like, scrap it. We can't give them what they want.
No, even if it takes us 2 years long, we can't have those fuckers be right.
But I think that could still be kind of right, though, because I think it seems like a lot of these things are being lifted out of the ground. So that would make you think there's going to be giant chasms in the land, right? Mm-hmm. So like you could be also going down into those chasms.
But there are some theories.
Okay.
I don't know if you've noticed this, Darby, but during most of this trailer, besides the beginning, when Link's running around, you don't actually see his face.
Yeah, they did definitely carefully not show his face. And
he has longer hair and different clothing and that kind of stuff. And during one of the things where they're showing stuff from the past, the clothing looks like the hero from like 1,000 years in the past. It might be a completely different Link. Some people are thinking it could actually be Ganondorf, because the clothing that dead Ganon wears at the beginning is kind of similar-ish to the tunic that Link is wearing in the gameplay, or what we think is Link, but with the different clothing and the hair and that kind of stuff, and the fact that they very clearly intentionally not showing Link's face.
Yeah,
I think there is a very strong possibility, even if it's not Ganon, that we're playing as. I don't think that's true, but that'd be wild. I do think that we might be jumping between the future and the past and the present.
We're getting timey-wimey.
Yeah, we're getting, and the mechanics are also kind of go with that, because we have that ball that you just send backwards in time to knock people out. You saw the puddle where it goes up in reverse time, and then the show that Link going through the platform.
And the music is playing backwards in the trailer. If there's not a time element to this game, then there's some very big miscues here going on.
Yep. Also, the fun thing about that fire thing they just showed, Damiani reminded me of it, I believe, from Easy Allies. That was the weapon they were talking about in the Making of a Candy book I have in my room, if you ever wanted to read that.
I did hear him say that.
They scrapped, bring up that. Imagine there's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the DLC, because they were talking about we had a lot of ideas for DLC, so we just said fuck it and making a full other game.
Right. Very intriguing. All of that. I mean, there's going to be there's something to all of that. I don't know if it's going to go as far as people think when it comes to all that, but there's going to be there's some time thing.
Well, even if it's just a simple we play as the hero from 1,000 years in the past, wherever the hell it is. I just threw that number out there. Can't remember if that's the exact number, but it's like, okay, that and going into the sky and stuff. We were worried about how they're gonna make this game different. That's how you do it. That immediately shows from this. Like, what I love about this trailer, it is short and everything, but it does give us enough to at least make us feel good. Like, okay, this is not just gonna be a rehash where we're doing the same things in the same land as Breath of the Wild 1. There's gonna be a bunch of crazy shit, either because of the mechanics or the actual land that we're gonna be walking on.
Right. I'm assuming like there'll be a lot of things like you're technically in the same area from one or whatever, but like the context is completely different. Like things have changed or whatever, or like you're even with the time mechanic or whatever, you'll be like going back through something to do something in a different way or something. Like I think there's gonna be a core element to this. I mean, it's straight up, it's like a Majora's Mask type situation. Yeah. I hope it's a Majora's type Mask situation to the point where I hope this game is controversial. I hope there are a lot of people that don't like this game because it tried something crazy. Yeah.
And of course, we love it because of that.
Of course, because we're classy, dignified individuals. You know what I mean? Though, I hope that they go in on whatever this time shit.
The Darby, if this is the Majora's Mask to Ocarina of, to Breath of the Wild's Ocarina of Time, there is a chance, like, and if it goes as far as like me like Majora's Mask more than Ocarina of Time, it goes to that level. This could be my new favorite game of all time, based off that fact.
Yeah, well,
if it goes that way,
Breath of the Wild's already up there. Yeah, he's already like up there in my top 5, easy. Yeah, that's obviously I am so super excited. I mean, this trailer definitely did hype me, but it's like, I just want the game. It's like, I just want to get the game. It's like, it's definitely because it's already like, we already know Breath of the Wild. We already know this area. It's like not quite, and there's not like, even though there's a lot packed into this, this is very clearly a very early trailer, and it's like we're still like holding a lot of cards to our chest. Which, considering that this game is probably not coming until late next year, I'm assuming at this point, that's fine. That's okay or whatever, and the speculation will be fun for sure.
Yeah, and I think the whole time travel stuff, or even potentially the Ganon thing, like I said, I think there could be a chance of that. I don't think it's likely, but that'd be dope. The fact that they're like, okay, we're not telling you the title because it's give too much shit away for now. It's like, okay, yeah, the whole time thing makes a lot of sense because I imagine that will be part of the title.
I had already pretty much given up hope, but I think this pretty much just throws right in the trash any chance of playing the Zelda.
Probably
they throw her ass right down the hole. There's probably going to be some timey-wimey stuff to try to get her back or something. Like she dies and you have to reverse time to get her back or whatever. But like, I think they're fucking cowards. I don't think they're going to let us play as her.
Yeah.
I hope they prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I hope it's a red herring, but it's probably not a red herring. They probably show the damsel in distress. Yep. Because that is just what Zelda is.
But Dari, it's okay. Next week, I can play as Zelda on a motorcycle in Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, that's what she's relegated to. Fucking Hyrule Warriors motorcycles. That's all you get. I'm hoping for a super hype moment though, where they like reverse time to and we fight Ganon as a like human form because they've reversed him back or something.
That'd be dope.
Like, I think that could be really cool. Because we never really in the Breath of the Wild universe got to see like Ganon as a person, but we saw his corpse there or whatever. We saw like him in the beast form or whatever. I think it would be pretty cool if there's some moment where it's like he like reverses back and he's Ganon with his like fucking, like, that would be
indeed. I know there was some theories about Link's arm, the green arm thing that we saw, but I forgot what they were. So
he's from Cyberpunk.
Sweet. Finally, good Cyberpunk. I enjoyed the game.
You got any more on Breath?
Nah, I think we spent enough time.
I'm gonna start calling it Breath.
Yeah, well, after Psychonauts 2 is done, this will be my most anticipated game now.
Understandable. All right, well, my next one is 12 minutes.
And Dari, I'm kind of surprised you picked this game. Not because I know you're not excited for it, but because we've kind of seen a lot for it. And
we have for sure. But I think this feels like the most extended thing that we've seen. And I have some other things to talk about it with, too. I think this was a game that I was already like just about sold on. I mean, like just vibe wise and everything else I've seen. It was like was pretty much day one unless I heard other things.
It's on Game Pass, so
and Game Pass. So yeah, didn't even.
There was no question in my mind.
Forget about
unless
that.
Was like reviews came out. It was just terrible.
Yeah,
which I didn't expect. Obviously,
but I do think this was like. I don't know, this showcase, and part of it was also like seeing the actors and everything, which I'll definitely get to.
Yeah.
But I think this like really went into like the choices, doing all this or whatever, and like the key thing that like it kept making me think about is like a lot of games promise the whole choice driven thing or choices matter, all this is gonna happen or whatever, and like I think we talk about a lot on this podcast how most of the time that's way oversold compared to what the game actually ends up being.
Marketing.
Yeah, exactly. I think this game has a much better chance of being like one of the best of those, because I feel, especially with the way that they talked about the game specifically in this showcase, I think this is going to be a pretty short game that's going to be about like replaying it and like seeing the different like paths and stuff a bunch of times. And I think that's going to be the more the gameplay loop. And it's a game specifically designed around that. It's like the scope is a lot smaller, and which is good, I think, for this. That it's like not trying to be an RPG, I'll do all this other stuff or whatever. Like, I think that loop, this is one of the first times I feel like that loop of just like you going through and making different choices, I think that's basically going to be the game. Is like you make different choices and you're slowly learning more and more about what's going on by basically beating the game over and over again or whatever. So it's like this is the like it definitely started like clicking more, where it's like this is one of the first times where I'll actually let myself get excited by the your choices matter thing, which I'm usually incredibly skeptical about.
Yeah. No, I feel it. No, I agree. I'm curious, like, I can't remember if they've said it. I feel like I might have seen something about it. I forgot like how long this game technically is to quote unquote beat. But I am very curious about that.
Yeah, I'm assuming short, because everything we've seen is just like this isometric thing.
Like so many rooms, and you imagine there are not too many ways for it to start, so not as many ways for it to necessarily branch out.
Right.
Not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think again it's going to be a more focused thing, and I think you're going to get a lot of like little mini things where it's like that was a satisfying arc, but there's still something about this whole situation I don't understand. So you do another thing, and you do a different situation, you learn a little bit more, but then it opens up other questions where you're like, so what the fuck is really going on? It's like another one, like. I think that loop seems like it could be very satisfying. Yeah,
I guess especially, once you learn more, they'll just have more dialogue options right off the bat.
Right.
It's like, okay, I know this. Like, you talk to your wife about the whole past thing. It's like, okay, I know this now. Tell me the rest of it.
And something so cool. I think the writing seemed really, really strong in this, where it's like the character you're playing as is like speaking like the person, I really like that conversation when he's like completing her sentences because he's heard this 1,000 times, and I think like her reaction was really, really good. You just get that anxiety that he's feeling from that a lot. I think
what helps will sell this stuff is the fact they don't have to be these big name actors like they got in here, but because we know these actors, we know they're very damn good. We just now going, it's like, okay, they will sell these parts for sure.
For sure. I definitely did want to touch on, I partially picked this game just for the conversation to have around it too. Well, I think they're going to be great. And like, I think in this, like even just hearing Willem Dafoe, I'm like, damn, Willem Dafoe's really good. It's like, I think they're going to be really good. I do think I get the vibe from this game that they have these actors just because they can. I don't necessarily think they have these actors because like that was their vision. Like, this is like the best thing for the game or whatever.
Well, they didn't start with voice acting. They added it in.
Right. I definitely like got some vibe of like oh, this is just getting very Hollywood. Like they got like obviously got in the right person's ear and did this or whatever. And like I guess if there's any worry, I'm slightly. I don't think it's gonna happen. But just looking at this, I'm like, yeah, y'all are just like really flaunting that you have these actors. So like, if there's any worry I have, it's that like maybe we'll get in here and it'll just be like, well, that's Daisy Ridley, or that's Willem Dafoe. And it's just gonna be like the character's not really built around having Willem Dafoe. They just slap Willem Dafoe on it because they got Willem Dafoe and they're excited to get Willem Dafoe. You know what I mean? I'm like slightly worried that the actor is not going to fit the character because it was not made with that in mind or whatever. I just hope that they like are really the best people for the job, not just celebrities, basically.
Gotcha.
You know, if I just had to like make a concern for the game, but I'm not super concerned. I think it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah. We got it pretty soon. August or September. One of those.
Did it say here? Willem Dafoe?
No, I don't think so. I think it was announced during Microsoft's conference.
Comes out in 12 minutes.
Oh. But I excite.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Darby.
Absolutely.
Move on. I don't even know what my next game is on this list.
I hit F1. I don't even know what that does. Okay. Mario.
Yes, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Darby. We finally got that long-awaited sequel to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
We go into space, baby.
Going into space, and we have a new queen, and her name is Rabbid Rosalina.
Oh my god, so good.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Yeah, we were expecting this one for a while because Mario plus Rabbids sold very well, and according to Matt Piscatella, according to MPDs, might be the best-selling third-party game on Switch. There's some debate about like Minecraft's potential thing in it, but the point is, this sold very well, and it's not necessarily a surprise it's got a sequel. And there is Rabbid Luma, which is adorable but cursed.
Yeah, it's on both of those things. For sure.
No, just watching this does make me happy. It's like it's just wild that we're at the point now. I'm excited for a game with rabbits.
And like I just love that the first one was so good that no one's even remotely memeing this at this point. They're just like, no, I really fucking want this.
No, people just really want this game now. And I mean, yeah, I feel like for a lot of people, it's one of the most hyped announcements of E3. Probably most people are excited for an announcement from Ubisoft's thing.
I'm surprised, but really happy that they're going back for the Galaxy aesthetic.
Yes.
Like, I'm glad that Galaxy gets to live on in a game or whatever. Like, that whole aesthetic was just so fucking cool. And it's just like, it's dope because like they could keep making these games and just different Mario / Nintendo style, the Donkey Kong thing. You could delve into a bunch of other shit. It's like it's really, really cool. Like
our queen.
There's so much nostalgia with Mario that it's like, yeah, it's really cool. I'm wondering, do you think this whole game is going to be like, are they going to lean hardcore into the Galaxy vibe with like, you know, gravity puzzles, all that? Are you going to be in space the whole time, or do you think that's...
I know we're traveling planet to planet, they said.
Yeah.
As far as like gravity goes, I don't know. I can see there being some challenges with it. I'd be curious to see what they do with that. But something that gets me excited besides the aesthetic of it at all, and I think it's exciting to, we get, Rabbid Rosalina, which probably means Rosalina's in this game somewhere, not playable, because we know there are 9 playable characters, they said. We know technically 8 of them, I think. The Mario, Luigi, and Peach and their rabbit counterparts are returning. Rabbid Rosalina is there and obviously playable. That golf rabbit looking motherfucker with the sword that I have no idea who that's supposed to, like what's their deal, is probably playable. We got one more. Probably gonna be Rosalina, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But other things that get me excited is from a gameplay perspective of this, just going off of it. Immediately you see in that cinematic trailer, when they show their weapons and everything, everyone has different weapons now. Like Luigi had like a sniper rifle before. Now he has a bow and arrow. Mario, he's dual wielding now. Peach has an umbrella cannon.
Of course.
And then we actually see, they go to the gameplay portion where we see a little bit, and you see the environments and stuff, like there's so much more detail. It's so much open. It's not grid based now.
Yeah.
And then when you go in the battles, it's not grid based either. It's pretty free flowing, which is awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
And gives you a lot more thing. It just looks a lot better to move around and all that. And you actually have Goomba bombs at the
end. Wasn't the hub world and the other one like a top down almost 3D world type thing that you just
pretty much it was pretty much and it was grid based like the battles because you seamlessly went into the battles. What they're doing here, they said, is
you're like walking around
right here. You do that, they run into you, and you get teleported to the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's overall slightly small thing, but I mean, it just seems really cool to be able to run around these worlds. They're like fully.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice you can pick up a bomb and throw it. Let's go.
Well, and just when you take out the grid thing, it just opens up a lot more to like your positioning and everything, doing weird stuff like Valkyria Chronicles type of shit. Yeah, where you can
That's great. We got those little lumas. Or rabid lumas, besides the main one that have elements, and it's like they will be used. It looks like you equip one to each party member, and they each have their own super types. Like this one has a meteor.
Hell yeah, Sephiroth. Yeah, no, this is gonna be great. I really need to play the first one. I'm sure I would love it.
It's like so cheap right now. It's always on sale, so it's. I think I have a physical copy somewhere as well.
Okay, well, if you have physical, then definitely.
Yeah, I need to jump on the Donkey Kong one. I let that pass me by.
I think I would really like this game. I can get into tactics.
And it can get pretty difficult at parts, especially if you did some of the side stuff.
Yeah.
It's harder than Fire Emblem overall, Darby, for sure.
Good. Very good.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, the humor hits and all that, and it's just they do very creative things with it. And yeah, I'm happy for this dev team that, especially after, how people reacted to the leak last time and everything, and obviously the great reception of it.
I was getting worried that this just wasn't going to get a sequel. I mean,
honestly, we're at the point now, like, okay, this makes sense that it came out 4 years ago, so it being announced now makes sense. But yeah, if we didn't hear about it like by the end of this year, I would start to worry for sure.
But it's gonna end up being like 5 years later because it doesn't come till next year. I mean, that's pretty long for what these games are. Like,
well, when I say that, when I was hearing, like, I kind of expected, even when it leaked before we saw the release date, that it was going to it was going to be a similar thing to last time, announced at E3, coming out in like August, September.
But, which is not. I have a feeling that this didn't get greenlit immediately. That there had to be more Nintendo Ubisoft talks or whatever. I mean, that was the whole thing. Like, I knew it sold enough to get a sequel, but it's like, is Nintendo going to be weird about it? Like,
I was thinking more. I was more worried about a Ubisoft thing because with their games, like, did it sell enough for them? Because
they probably get less cut.
Yeah, because from Nintendo's resources, this is just another exclusive to the liked exclusive to their docket.
Yeah, I'm sure there were. Yeah, you're probably right. Because there probably were some Ubisoft execs to be like, "Hey, couldn't we just make you Assassin's Creed tactics game and get all the money from it?" Yeah, it's like, so eventually they had to be convinced. But the Mario one will sell more.
Yeah. And it's like, now that this is like, we were talking about Nintendo's announcements in there, and I know it's technically a Ubisoft game. I count this in my mind towards Nintendo's announcements. Add to the big announcements for, for games for them.
Yep.
And Nintendo's now got especially since Breath of the Wild now in 2022, got a pretty solid 2022 already. Like, a lot better going 6 months before the year starts than any other Switch year. Yeah, for sure.
And I'm also just happy to see that the Nintendo collaborations are still alive.
Yes.
Like, so I'm hoping we can still see more of those. Like, we had Cadence of Hyrule, we had this, and we had the weird toy one. What was the toy game? What now? Also Ubisoft that had the Star Fox mission.
Oh yeah. I'm blanking on the name.
Starlink, something like that.
Yeah, Starlink.
Yeah. I'm hoping, like, I want to see, like, Nintendo. Well, I was gonna say Nintendo Square, but I guess we had Octopath, but that's not everything. Now Nintendo, with Nintendo property, Nintendo IP, letting other people do. I always said, like, let one of these indies do a Metroid if you don't want to do a Metroid. Now they're doing a Metroid.
Oh yeah, you know what's funny, Darby? I'm gonna bring this up real quick. It's not related to any of the games we're talking about. You remember last year, roughly around E3, I believe, when Nintendo Treehouse, I think they were technically under it, had a Mario or Paper Mario presentation, and they said And after the Paper Mario, we're going to do talk about a game from way forward, and they're working on a franchise that isn't theirs. And everyone remember that?
Yeah,
and everyone was like, "Oh, it's Metroid," and then it ended up being Bakugan. And Nintendo.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Advance Wars. Like,
no, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
And it's like the year later, it's like, oh yeah, Way Forward is working on one of our properties, and it is Advance Wars. Also, you are getting that Metroid game as well.
Yeah,
I found that
we got there in
full
the
circle.
End. We had to watch Bakugan, but we got there in the end.
It all came full circle. We're all good now. But yeah, I'm very excited for Mario Plus Rabbids Day 1, baby.
Hell yeah, very strong. Well, and maybe a slightly surprising one for old Darbo to bring. Can I just say, I love this whole like intro thing for the Treehouse, and like the music slaps. But anyway, so
Treehouse is great.
That's good.
I actually had not watched the Treehouse for this.
Okay, yeah. I am bringing Monster Hunter Stories 2. Very interesting one for me to bring. This was a game that, for some reason, right from the very first trailer we saw, it just kind of caught my eye. It just looks very cute, and I just really loved the art style for it immediately. But I was like, okay, like, I really vibe with this trailer. I'm just expecting every single time I like see any Monster Hunter Stories thing, I'm expecting to be unsold on it, because it's like, I think the Monster Hunter storyline in the Monster Hunter games is trash.
It's not really a story.
Yeah, it's not. It's not trying to be either.
Yeah.
But it is trash. It's like, so I'm like, okay, I really like this trailer. Surely this game is going to unsell me at some point if I keep watching this. But it's like, all right, 40 minutes, let's strap in. I'm ready to be unsold. I wasn't unsold. Like, this game
but you saying that gets me more interested to actually watch this, because if you were like, you seem to like it up to put it here, it's like, okay, there's got to be something there. Because admittedly, like, unfortunately, I don't think they marketed this game particularly well. Because
over marketed.
That and it's everywhere. But the trailers are mostly the same.
Yeah,
like, it's showing the story part of it. Show me the gameplay.
That's why I love this.
Yes,
like,
yes.
I think
that's why Treehouse is so great.
Yeah, the trailers have definitely gotten. I haven't even watched like half of the other trailers they have, because it's kind of pointless. It was like just 40 minutes of just a person playing the game was exactly what I wanted to see. And I mean, this game is just like very jolly. It's definitely like a JRPG, turn-based JRPG type thing or whatever, and definitely falls into a lot of those trappings or whatever. But I was expecting it to be either like too basic or just like cringy, weird Monster Hunter thing, or just like seem like a like low budget thing. From everything I've seen, like the customization, just like breaking it down piece by piece, the world is adorable and everything, and the way you can customize your character and everything is really appealing to me and everything. And then like as I watched this, I started to realize like all the Monster Hunter elements do kind of slot right in here perfectly, because like you unlocking new costumes and everything is just like the costumes in the like regular game or whatever. You're getting armor to like match different things. And the fact that you're actually like getting these monsters to fight on your side, and like as it got into like the turn-based battles, it made me realize like, yeah, they have a lot of different creatures in this game, and this is basically like a Pokemon game. Yeah. And it's like, it's actually kind of perfect for a Pokemon style thing, because they have so many different monsters that have different abilities. And like I can get into like the combat. What I think is really cool is the combat actually, like, I recognize every time I do an ability, I recognize it as an ability from Monster Hunter, like an ability that the monster would do, but they've like reincorporated it into a turn-based structure, which is really cool. So like it has a Pokemon element of you're getting these different these different monsters and using them for different situations, and then it also has like a Fire Emblem type like weapon wheel type thing, where it's like this type of creature is this type of attack thing is good against this or good against this or whatever, and certain creatures have different things. So like that whole element is cool, and towns and the open world is like way bigger than I thought it would be.
Skip to the open world, Darby.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is 40 minutes. Yeah.
So Darby, I have a request of you. If you are to purchase this game, which it is coming out soon, and you don't have any games.
Yeah, look at that. Look at how far that goes.
I request you get a physical copy so I can maybe play it.
Totally, 100%. Yeah, I like never do that with Switch, but I will do it for you, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm immediately like, this just looks like a jolly world I want to explore. It just legitimately does. I mean, it looks like Monster Hunter, but just in a way like different vibe and style. But let's definitely get into some combat, because it's like cool that even like the visual indicators in combat are like the same visual indicators like from Monster
even
Hunter.
some of the stuff to the side is like very
Yeah, and the stuff you get, like you get the honey and things like that. But like even the health bars, a lot of the status effects, like they look the same. Like you playing Monster Hunter will help you in this, like know some certain things. It just seems like it's a surprisingly deep thing for turn-based combat, and like the different monsters have like different type of abilities. You can do like weird team up abilities where you and like your other party members like do some team up attack on them, and just seeing all the different like monsters or whatever, it just seems really cool. And it has the whole collecting all the monsters that you want to do, but you're also like, I don't know, it seems like there might be certain monsters that you can't collect that are like boss things. I think
I can see that for sure.
Or like they are just like antagonist monsters. I mean, all the monsters I saw you using were usually the smaller ones, and then the big ones that you would actually like fight in Monster Hunter.
So Darby, I don't know if you saw from Capcom's thing, or maybe I told you, but to help you sell you on this game a little more, because you, good sir, have Monster Hunter Rise save data, you can get a Palamute as a monster companion.
Hey, let's go. I can have Ryan Gosling.
You can have Ryan Gosling, or at least the basic ass version of him. I'm gonna assume you not customized.
Yeah, I just went. I don't know. I went into this 40-minute thing fully expecting to be completely unsold on the game, but I got out of it. It's like I kind of want to play it. I don't think it's gonna be like a game of the year type thing. I think the story is gonna be like very straightforward and everything, but it looks very charming. The turn-based aspect of it looks like way less traditional than I thought it was going to be. It looks like there's a lot more going on into it. It has like a lot of like Monster Hunter trappings that were like, it just seems like it's a really cool way of translating the Monster Hunter world. I thought it was going to be a lot more ham-fisted than it is.
Now, Dari, I'm noticing the monsters that the player has, and they have different names, but they're obviously the same species.
Oh shit!
Can you name your monsters?
Maybe you can.
The coloring's a little different. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they are. I'm not.
Maybe they're special and they're just named.
Yeah,
but they should let me nickname my monsters.
I agree.
Which for people who are not Monster Hunter stories experts like me and Darby, Monstie stands for Monster Besties, and that is canon.
I kind of love it.
That's great.
It's terrible, but I kind of love it. And just like seeing them, it looks like a satisfying open world to explore, because like they went into like or they like referenced there was like a monster cave or something that you saw that had like legendary monsters in it and stuff. Nice. But like I think the open world is just like way more detailed than I thought it was gonna be. Like it looks like this will probably be a fun thing to just explore, and you can ride them.
Let's go.
And just collecting all the different monsters, I think will be very, very cool. I mean, it kind of seems like Pokemon, but it's probably going to be a lot harder than Pokemon and a lot more like mechanically involved than Pokemon.
Monster Hunter Stories Nuzlocke, Darby. I don't know how that would work.
I don't know if I don't figure it out. So
if you die, the game's over.
You the person. But I think I'm in. Like I am like surprised myself that I'm in. I mean, I definitely think you would like it too. I mean, it has a lot of like the JRPG things. Yeah, and you can like attack certain parts of the creature too. And like it has the whole like they get knocked down, so it's like attack them right now while they're knocked down. And super anime ass shit like this. There's definitely a lot of
I always appreciate super anime attacks.
There's certainly a lot of super anime stuff. Yeah. I get the feeling, and from the way that the Treehouse people were talking about it, I think when you get to some of the legendary like monsters at the end, this game's gonna get hard. And they made it sound like when you beat the game, you beat the game, but just like Monster Hunter, you can keep going, and some of those like some of the same monsters there at the end of normal Monster Hunter at the end of this one, they're like a lot harder. It sounds like going for like hunts and stuff is like a thing. So there we go. I'm down.
Let's go.
It looks so jolly.
Comes out in what?
Yeah, I really
2
like
weeks?
really like the art style. Does it actually? Is it 2 weeks? I thought it was like August.
It's definitely July.
This and Unite.
July 9th, Darby. So yeah, it's very soon.
I'm getting all the Pokemon goodness.
Yeah, we're not talking about Pokemon Unite in this podcast, but boy, are we ready.
Oh, ready. Yeah. I wasn't going to bring it. We didn't see enough, but, but I'm ready.
Ready.
You better believe I'm ready. But are you, Jeff, ready?
Yes.
For Shin Megami Tensei 5?
Yes, I am ready for Shin Megami Tensei 5. Actually, I was thinking about it. It's right there. Do you think we should pull up the treehouse thing like you just did for Monster Hunter?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It was the top one on the... Yeah, there we go.
Oh, I kind of forgot.
Treehouse, baby. I love it.
Oh, shit. Yes.
Good vibes, good vibes. But yeah, I am very excited for this game. I played some of Shin Megami Tensei 4, but I kind of kicked my butt. And I'm ready to get my butt kicked again. But I feel like something that will help is I like the presentation for this better. It is definitely because 4 was on the 3DS and definitely did not look as good as this. I know this even looks like kind of a budget thing, but
I mean, it's still
I
mean, some of the lighting and things like that. I mean, we sit here.
I say budget because it's on the Switch, but
I mean, we gush and love Persona so much. I mean, this like visually. I mean, I guess Persona has a style that I like more than this, but I think it looks good for I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah. Plus, people forget that Persona 5 is a PS3 game. But yeah, just one thing when they get into battles, just the way the battles look is just going to be more engaging for it because in 4 you were just looking at the pixel model, whatever things like the portraits for the monsters instead of you seeing all your protagonist there and stuff and seeing the 3D models for it and all that. I think this is gonna just be a more pleasant game to just kind of explore and look at and all that, and just kind of looking at this. I know this is kind of like a generic Wasteland thing, but even that, this looks more exciting than the way the dungeons were in 4, at least what I played of it.
Right. I mean, did it have like Persona type dungeons or something? Like
closer to the pre-Persona 5 ones for sure. But also, for people who don't know, this is where Persona came from. Persona is a spinoff of this, and this is the Big Brother hardcore, not for babies version.
Not babies like us or like me.
Yep, and if you play Persona and you see footage of this, you'll notice Pixie and Slime, which are very iconic Persona monsters. Kind of same thing here. You are recruiting these monsters, but also recruiting them here is harder.
Yeah,
and just kind of you gotta think more. And this is gonna have an interesting thing of you gotta use their weaknesses to get turns. To get turns in a row and stuff to your advantage, and you can die a lot easier.
Yeah, does the combat look about like what you remember it being? Or
it's very similar to that. Also, something important here. I think you can maybe turn this off. Your monsters have permadeath.
Ah, good.
So it picks.
Cool.
I think later in this thing, Pixie dies and she is just dead.
That's cool. Brutal.
Yes, that might be something you can turn on and off, I imagine. But I'm not a pussy ass bitch.
You heard it here.
I might turn, but not to say I might not turn it off if one of my favorites die, like fire. I'm very excited for this. I know Jacob Hamill is also excited for this, and time wise for me, at least as of right now, it's very good since it's coming out in November. And there's like maybe one thing or something in October I'm looking forward to. It might just be like Mario Party or some shit. What's the biggest thing?
I mean, usually November has a lot of games, but they're usually like the Call of Duties and Battlefields and stuff. So
I mean, there still could be something slotted in there, but I feel like we got a lot of our release dates.
Yeah, we normally would know by now if there was.
And I feel like at least all the games I'm very interested in that I can think of already have release dates already.
Oh, isn't it? Your August is just fucking slammed.
I may name my August later so you guys can feel pity for me. And my late August, early September is actually insane. It is fucking crazy.
Well, I mean, obviously I'm nowhere near you, but especially if I get like stories and stuff, I have quite a few things on the horizon. I mean, Unite, that, Chris Tales, and
Darby, you have 3 games next month.
Trying to remember what they are. Yeah.
Chris Tales, Monster Hunter, and Pokemon Unite.
Chris Tales is also next one. Yep. Damn.
Yep.
3 games in 1 month?
Yeah.
I'm just playing my first 2021 game right now in Ratchet & Clank.
Second.
What was the other one?
It Takes Two. We need to finish that game.
I guess Guilty Gear also.
We need to finish It Takes Two, damn it.
Yeah, we do.
Also, I love how fabulous they made the protagonist after he fused with some
I
monster
legitimately
alien
thought
man.
that he had transformed into a girl. I was like,
People
cool.
are wondering about
It's like,
that,
cool.
but or if maybe they made this more androgynous. So if you pick like a female
yeah.
main character,
That
yeah. So they just kind of turn into the same thing, but all the press stuff refers to the main character as he. And there's been no thing of like a girl in the school uniform.
There was definitely something about like the first trailer too when it like revealed this. There was definitely a big like transition, like almost transgender type like shift thing that I was like slightly excited about for a second.
Yeah. Also, kind of interesting. I kind of like it's different from what Persona does. I think it fits what Persona does, but it might just probably maybe a limitation of the hardware at the time. The actual monsters 3D models are around here, so you're actually seeing what you're fighting going into it.
Have you ever seen sands that shiny in the real world?
Yes.
The sand just shimmer.
Yes.
That's some like Journey ash sand.
So yeah, I am excited for this game. I'm trying to think if there's anything else like crazy they've said for it, because we actually finally got a bunch of information. I think it's wild here that they decided to put all this information into an American
Us lowly Americans.
Yeah.
Got
All right, Shipment Guy Tensei 5 was originally announced in a Japanese presentation and all that, and the fact that this is a worldwide release, which is huge.
Yeah, kind of surprising for those. I mean, because Persona, it makes sense that you're trying to get the Americans with it. SMT is probably going to be a slightly harder sell.
Yeah.
But hopefully, I mean, I could see it doing better than it ever has in the U.S., but still probably not.
For sure.
Still,
Not Persona
it's not
level,
gonna do
obviously.
Persona numbers,
but,
yeah.
I expect it to break, or probably break maybe SMT records.
Yeah.
Especially in America.
I mean, this is the hardest they've worked for it ever.
Yes. I'm excited.
Yes.
What's your next game, Darby?
It's completely shift gears. Fucking Sea of Thieves, Pirates of the Caribbean.
This is an old
baby.
game.
I'm just excited about it though. So
I think they released a gameplay trailer in that Microsoft thing the other
really?
day.
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
so.
I've watched. Yeah, I don't think I watched it.
I haven't watched it either.
I watched the Psychonauts segment.
Or whatever. We'll just talk about it. Yeah. Anyway, so this is it's a Pirates of the Caribbean story coming to Sea of Thieves, and I am like legitimately surprised by how hyped this has made me.
It is very exciting. Well, it's partly the exciting thing because I heard Isla Hink from Easy Allies mention it. I mean, we played some Sea of Thieves, but not much in the grand scheme of things.
No.
And she was like, yeah, there's actual like story in cutscenes and stuff, which is wild for Sea of Thieves, like something they just haven't done. And it's like, yeah, they're going all out for this, and I absolutely love it.
Right. Like, I think the big thing about Sea of Thieves mechanically is a phenomenal game. I mean, it is like, it does one thing. I mean, but that one thing is very complex, and it's something like, it's an experience that I've never had in the video game before in the same way of like, there was something about like all of us, like me, you, and Alex, like manning this pirate ship, and like I've never had a video game like that where it's like this is truly a team effort in the sense that it's like operating a real ass pirate ship where it's like we have to designate jobs, and the game doesn't tell you that. I love that the game doesn't tell you. You have to like learn what your team dynamic is, and like Alex like looking out for people or whatever, and just like how like. You can't just quickly do things as to be like, okay, there's someone way on the horizon. We need to prepare for this. We need to get ready. I loved it. Like, I love it. It's so fucking cool. I think what Sea of Thieves is missing is reasons to do it. Like, mechanically, it's there. I just think that, like, they don't give you enough to come back because it kind of becomes the same thing again. You know what I mean? It's just like they have a really cool mechanic, but they don't have a story to go with it. I think shit like this is exactly what Sea of Thieves needs. It's like cool ass collaborations or just cool ass things that motivate you to come use their amazing mechanics.
Yes, I mean, I don't think this is an understatement for sure. This is probably the most hype people can see of Thieves forever. It's going to get people who may have not played a lot but haven't played in a while come back. It's going to be people like us who played a little bit and really enjoyed it, but only played a little bit to come back. And it's going to get new people. No questions asked.
Oh, yeah.
Whether they have Game Pass, I think I saw it's on sale for like $10. People are going to buy it just to play this.
Yes, 100%.
And again, this is the perfect crossover.
Oh, it's one of the best marriage of IP and game I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
Because, like, not only is just the game and the mechanics are perfect for it, the game kind of needs this. I mean, the game needs, like, something like this to give it the kick in the ass. Like, I think this is going to be, like, a very big boost for
and
CFTs.
Sea of Thieves is a game that's been around a while. It's going to continue to go on. So I'm hoping, and this is me partly talking of ignorance. There might be more like stuff kind of similar to this in the game already. I just don't know about.
Yeah, more definitely.
But I'm hoping like if this is kind of the first of its kind with the whole story mode thing, it doesn't have to be Pirates of the Caribbean, but they see how successful this is as a general, or hopefully it's successful and it's really good and all that, and they're like, okay, let's do more of this.
Right. Yeah, that's what like I don't even know what I'm asking for, because obviously this is like way easier because you're like feeding off the Pirates nostalgia or whatever, and that is why like I think this is going to be so much fun to play. But obviously I'm in the door because it immediately started kicking into my childhood where I'm like, oh, okay, fuck, I kind of do like these movies. Yeah. But I do hope that like this is a good like jumping on point for a lot of people, and I hope that Rare is like, okay, let's just keep the fun going. Like whatever form that comes, if we do other collaborations with other like crazy things or whatever, or just like focus on like what like crazy thing can we use these mechanics to like get people in the door with a story type thing. Like I think that's very smart, and the fact that this is not just like you're doing the normal ship combat, but you know, Jack Sparrow's there or whatever. It's like this is a whole ass thing that I think will be very fun.
And Darby, when does this update launch?
Like again, 2 weeks.
I think you just gotta click the arrow and it would come up probably.
Wait, what?
Or just play it a little more. Epic original story. June 27th.
June.
3 days.
Yep. I was gonna say like July is crazy, but that's fucking pre-July.
Yep. And coming free. It's no additional cost to anyone.
We definitely gotta win this June 22nd. We definitely gotta see
Tuesday.
Yeah, we gotta get Alex on this.
Oh yeah. I think that's an easy sell.
That'll be hype.
I think we all had fun with it. I feel like we all three of us enjoyed Sea of Thieves enough to if one of us were like, you guys want to go back and just Sea of Thieves? All of us be like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alex also agreed that it was like the mechanics are really good, but there's just like you end up doing this, you kind of run out of things to do fast or whatever, and unique things to do. But I think something like this is like, and I'm perfectly a-okay with Sea of Thieves being something we just jump in when there's a cool update and then bounce out again, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's fine with me, but like, yeah, I think this is just very hype, and I was just like, I've watched the trailer multiple times, and I'm just like really surprised by how much. I mean, yeah, like I think the original Pirates of the Caribbean movie, I just have a lot of nostalgia for. It's really, really fun.
Indeed.
And just like as soon as I saw it, I'm just like, brilliant, genius. Like the perfect game.
No. Yeah, I think we all saw Jack Sparrow. I'm like, oh, Morgoth's like, this just makes sense.
Just genius.
Yep.
Absolute genius.
Sorry, what is my next game?
Don't make me say it. You brought it. You have to try to pronounce it.
I brought in Iodine Chronicles.
Squeaking it ass shit.
Eden, I'm gonna go with Eden. Eden, 100 Heroes. Yeah, the Suikoden spiritual successor. Got that there Kickstarter. Did the stuff. Microsoft's like, guys, we thought you could use more money for your game, so we're putting you in our conference and paying you to be on Game Pass day one. I'm like, thank you, sir. There was some controversy about this.
Oh boy.
Just the normal thing of, I kickstarted this. Why do you need more money? What in the world?
Yeah.
Like, well, yeah.
Again, if you kickstart, you should not be doing it for a value proposition. You should understand that you're paying the support you feel. But anyway, that aside, the game looks dope.
Someone who didn't kickstart it Yeah, this looks great, and I'm happy to get it on Game Pass. I mean, I think the way this looks, I'd be getting it either way. Obviously, just this pixel art is just
look at those animations. Look at the freaking sprites.
Like in some way, this is like an evolution of Octopath. It's like Octopath, but in a different style.
Yeah, if you're an audio listener, it does like straight up look very, very Octopath. Like, but not a copy. It's definitely
no
its own vibe too.
It's just kind of doing that kind of 2D HD style thing, and it's a different art style with it. It's just kind of taking the same kind of graphical approach. And they also announced Eden Chronicle Rising, which is kind of more of an action adventure style game, and I think like a village sim thing.
Have we seen any more? Because they only showed like literally 2 seconds. Just
no, that's coming out next year, which is going to be a prequel thing, and we'll give you context for some of the characters that are going to be in the main game. And also, I think with this, Eden Chronicle was technically delayed into 2023, which I don't think is a surprise because that game's Kickstarter was just a couple months ago.
Yeah,
but yes, I am. Yeah, this game looks great, and Suikoden just sounds like everything from what I've heard. The kind of game me and you would fall in love with.
100%.
So getting a more modern version of it, especially when it looks this beautiful, it's like, yes.
Yeah.
I get why like Isla and Ben are.
Yeah. And I mean, they talked about there's like 100 characters on you.
Yes, there are going to be 100 characters in this game.
I mean, it always gives me like a Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn type situation where you just have this like army that you're going and doing things. And like, I love the like, like tactics mixed with like sim type thing, you know, where it seems like there's like some town and like relationship aspect to it or social aspect.
So beautiful. But yeah, well, as far as like we're talking about choices matter 12 minutes, the fact that there are 100 characters and you know they mentioned your choices will determine who's on your side or not. I can believe that when that many characters you can play with. The dialogue may not be much anything special, but I imagine there'll be like when we're talking and about like our favorite party members and stuff. You'll say Billy Bob. I'm like, who the fuck is that?
What are you talking about? Yeah, no, I think it's very hype. It's kind of a bummer that it's so far away, but it makes sense. But you know.
I got Kickstarter recently.
Like criticizing them. It's just I just want it, you know.
Yeah, and I think that wait, I imagine for a lot of people feel better about it because Rising was announced, so that at least get a little taste of it next year.
Yeah,
before the main game, and I think that was like a stretch goal, so it's not like something surprising. Like, why aren't you just finishing the game? Blah blah blah. Well, Bloodstained also did something similar to very popular, like very good reception. People love Curse of the Moon.
Yes, they do.
So yeah, and I think it does help that it looks like it's going to be a kind of Rising's going to be pretty different gameplay wise from 100 Heroes.
Yeah. Yes. Looks great.
Yep.
Well, our next game, Somerville.
Somerville. Not Play Dead.
Not Play Dead.
I like how we're all like Play Dead. It's like, oh. Then we remember afterwards, oh wait, they said the developer at the beginning of the trailer. But then we saw in one of the founders Play Dead is part of this. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, my hype didn't go down at all because it still has Play Dead attached to it. And just look at the game. It fucking looks like very clear.
That is honestly the best part about this story is it looks great. Yeah. It has the Play Dead talent attached to it. And we're still getting Play Dead's game.
I know. It's just...
Win.
We just get freaking more. Yeah. This game looks awesome. Yes. I mean, it looks very, very inside. I think it probably looks like it's a little, like slightly more traditional story. I mean, just because, I mean, inside is like an artsy ass motherfucking thing where it's like, you don't know what the fuck's going on. There's no dialogue and a bunch of everything. Or whatever.
Again, I think it's like we kind of instantly forgot about they showed the developer, but we saw this like, yes, this is the inside style.
Yeah.
But it's different enough. It's like, okay, yeah, this is going to, obviously stand of its own to where we don't have to completely compare it to Inside. Like, well, Inside did this better or whatever. Like, this seems to be going for a different thing overall.
Yeah, it's getting that.
Still gonna be creepy as hell.
Same vibe, and it's still gonna be creepy as hell, but it's definitely going for something different. And like, yeah, I think again, it's gonna be. I don't even mean when I say more traditional story. I just mean more traditional than Inside, which is like the least traditional game I've ever played. Mm-hmm. It's like it's wild. I just think like this looks like it's like has enough of those roots, but then it's also like there's a weird space thing going on. There's these different, there's this relationship
Plus
between these families, and everything. And it doesn't look like it's completely 2D. It looks like the camera goes off. I don't know how much that, it might still effectively play the same, but at least like
it kind of looks like you're still kind of going a side to side / straight path thing for the most part. But yeah, you'll be going kind of into the background some and maybe into the foreground and all that kind of stuff. Which again, this will help it stand on and feel like an evolution of Inside.
Yeah. It's going to be a mind fuck, I'm sure. I mean, it's kind of one of those, I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but legit Inside is like probably the best game I've ever played. I mean, it's not my favorite game I've ever played, but I think it's the best game I've ever played. I think it is a goddamn masterpiece. Like, there's literally not a thing I would change about Inside. It's like one of the only, and it's a simpler game than a lot of, it's like saying like, it's the same thing like Tetris is a masterpiece. Yeah. Because it's trying something way like it's not like you can say like Tetris is a masterpiece, Witcher 3 is not. It was like, well, okay, Witcher 3 is like trying for way more. Tetris is way easier for Tetris.
For Tetris, the reason why, despite all these variations of Tetris, people sometimes I just go back to
it's way easier for Tetris to be a masterpiece. It's way easier to be a masterpiece if you try less, basically. So I'm not even like criticizing other games, but like Inside is a like masterpiece.
I swear that dog dies.
He's at least gonna be in danger. They're gonna flirt with it.
I will kill everyone in this room. I will kill everyone in this room.
Oh boy. So I mean, I don't want to like put so much pressure on this game because of Inside, but it definitely gets me. I mean, that font is even the Inside font. They know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah. I can show you the Inside, like the logo for Inside. It's literally that font. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, I feel like because there was some hype, there was like a whole bunch of games there. I feel like this is one of those games that after the Microsoft conference is kind of faded into the background. When a lot of people talked about it afterwards.
I have a feel like we probably won't talk about this game a lot until it comes out or whatever, because it's just like it's something we'll probably take for granted. I can almost guarantee this is probably gonna be like one of the best games of all the games we talk about today. Like even if we like forget to talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, again, with the pedigree and then it's like, oh yeah, there's an instant like when we do our 2020. Wait, is this slated for 2022? I just play it and see. Yes. When we do our anticipated list, I guess we'll see where it goes. But I mean, it's gonna be up there for both of us. No questions asked. Yeah, I can see us
me
and you will both and Game Pass.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
No. I assumed so because it's only like 3 games that were at that whole conference that weren't on Game Pass, and it's like Battlefield and Far Cry and stuff. We're not it. This could be like the 3rd one, but I don't think it is.
Well, even if it is, I will definitely be buying this game. Yes, I'll be playing it one way or the other.
Let's fucking go.
Yes. And we still get played it.
Yeah, and I guess just to get, if you didn't get from the talk. This was on my short list, potentially be one of my 6 to bring here, but Darby told me his list. Like, okay, well, I don't have to mention that.
Yeah. I had to do it.
But I'm bringing, I think, a pretty surprising game for me, and I bring Elden Ring.
FromSoft?
Yeah, you asked me about this, Darby. I think I'm recording or something. I don't know why I'm more hyped for this game based on this trailer.
And that's okay.
I legitimately don't get it.
You don't have to know. You don't have to.
Yes, but I don't know. Something about this trailer spoke to me. And I might end up regretting it. I might just get my teeth kicked in, my shit beat, and
I mean, you would probably like the other FromSoft games.
I know
you're pretty good at video games overall. I mean, like I think they're just like they probably I think those games just seem more daunting because of the internet mythos around them. I mean, a lot of people who play them are like, it's really not as bad as people is like just the myth, the talk has gotten to or whatever. So you would probably like the other one, so I think you'll probably like this one. But
yeah, I just don't know. I think I know there's Dark Souls and all that kind of, and Demon Souls and all that, but just whatever reason, this trailer just screams more Berserk to me in a lot of ways. Like they just went more deep into the fantasy stuff.
Yeah, it's certainly more fantasy vibe.
Yeah, and to go to Berserk, and that's really speaking to me, and it just looks beautiful. And the open worldness kind of intrigues me. While a lot of other things and other circumstances, that just kind of makes me want to back away a little bit. Yeah. But I don't know. I feel like something with this game style, with that, and just the way this world looks, and just everything we're hearing about it, I don't know, makes me very intrigued. That Wolfman, very berserk.
A lot of those animations are like really, really pretty. It almost it's not quite as good as it, but it reminds me of that
that dragon just grabs both lines.
Yeah, it's like crazy. Some of these animations remind me of that game from China that we keep seeing, Wukong.
Yeah.
It's like, it's starting to look more like that levels of like insane animation.
I'm glad I don't have to play this on PS. I don't have to play this.
Probably honestly, a big part of it is fucking 60 frames that these games should just be at anyway. It's like, just like moving.
Yeah. So that's saying, and also something that came out after the fact that I'm pretty excited about. Darby, if you will indulge me, I'm going to read something from Game Informer about a mechanic that came out afterwards. There's something called spirit bodies in this game, Darby. Spirit body companions. I'm just going to read this a little bit. In a recent Famitsu interview with Hidetaka Miyazaki, he confirmed that Elden Ring players can summon what is called a spirit body. These spectral beings are pretty useful. They can help you when you're in a tight spot mid-combat. If this feels new to fans of Bloodborne and Dark Souls, that's because it is. These companions are completely on your side, and at least according to translation from Japanese, can be commanded to perform certain roles. Miyazaki also confirmed that these spirits are actually the spirits of fallen enemies. So it's like a 1-2 punch of complete destruction. Not only have you killed them, but you're also making them essentially do your bidding. Nice. And I'll give the author credit after I read this, by the way. He also confirmed that these ghosties are interchangeable, meaning you can collect various types of fighting ghosts and swap them depending on your specific need in battle. They can also be upgraded, which is also a nice touch when progressing through the Elden Ring storyline. Yep. This is there. And it's from Liana Rupert from Game Informer. So it kind of has like a Pokemon-esque thing to it. Just capturing the spirits of your enemies and using them.
That's wild.
To do your bidding.
That's pretty wild.
Yep. And I'm all for that shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, this game looks really good. And it's coming out early next year. Unfortunately, I will probably not be able to get it day one right now because I need to play Pokemon.
Yeah.
Elden Ring, I'm gonna, just to make things clear, Elden Ring is definitely gonna be the better game. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
But I need to play Pokemon Legends. I'm required to. 5-year-old me signed a contract.
Yeah, your soul has been signed away from it. You have no say in the matter.
Yeah, they like come out like, I don't know, 4 days apart or some shit like that.
That sucks. That sucks.
Very different audiences overall, but.
I bet there's more overlap than you think.
No, I know there's a lot. No.
Fucking everyone.
Okay, intended audiences.
Yeah, absolutely,
for sure. But I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, from the outside, this is a very interesting one for me because I think the game looks amazing. I also think Dark Souls 3 looked amazing, and Bloodborne looks amazing, and Demon's Souls. I think all these games look amazing, and this is not like this is one of these games that like I have no issue with like. I completely understand why everyone loves this. It's not even like there's elements of Resident Evil that I don't get why everyone loves, but like they're like these games. I'm just like, yes, they are like great. Like everything about them is like wonderful. I get why everyone loves them. I guess I don't necessarily see what's drastically crazy different about this game than the other ones. I mean, I think it definitely looks really cool.
I don't know either.
And the vibe is different. It doesn't look like crazy different, but I mean, I definitely get a difference. Like it looks slightly more fantasy-esque, but it does still look like in line with the other ones or whatever. So like I don't see what would make someone like be like not in for the other ones but in for I'm glad you are, but like I definitely struggle to see it a little bit.
I do too.
But that's fine.
You feel how you feel,
That is true.
Hey,
I will say Bloodborne is significantly cheaper.
I have Bloodborne.
Yeah, we all do. I mean, it was on PlayStation Plus like forever ago too. Yeah. Yep. Well, I will not be playing this game. I'm kind of just in the. Unfortunately, this one didn't grab me like Jeff, where it's like I'm right at the same place I've always been from software. I appreciate it. I just don't think it's for me. I mean, that would just be very I feel like I would just be so frustrated with these games.
Regardless how I end up feeling about it, or who knows, there's a chance I say this now and don't end up getting the game. I will fully admit that right now. Yeah. I'm just glad to see, based on this trailer, it looks like it will probably live up to the hype of it.
Yeah, no, everyone's losing their damn minds.
Yeah. So let's go. Okay, Darby, I think we got one game each. Is that correct?
I believe so. I only have one more.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. And I got Avi.
Ending on the big one.
Ooh, baby, Metroid Dread.
Well, and then we got my next game, which might be the smallest one. But yeah, Metroid Dread.
Metroid Dread. Let's fucking go, boy. Which apparently is a game that has existed and has been rumored for many, many years, and I didn't know.
I was kind of reminded of it. When I saw Metroid Dread, I was immediately like, it sounds familiar. Or this Metroid Dread together looks familiar to me. Like, then saw it with Dread, I was like, oh, okay, that's it.
I knew nothing about any of this.
It was kind of... I like Nintendo stuff at the time, but I was like on the internet and all that stuff at that time. So yeah, it was kind of me hearing stuff after the fact.
It's ancient history.
But yeah, as they like to say during this, first Metroid game or new game in the Metroid series in 19 years or whatever the fuck it is, despite Metroid Prime being a thing. It is the first wholly new 2D game in about 20 years.
Samus Returns, I know, is a remake. But
Exactly. But it is the first brand new non-remake 2D game in about 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
Which is hype.
And goddamn, I'm so excited for this game. I think it looks real good. Like, the more I watch it, the more I'm excited because... And honestly, I really thought if Metroid came back, it was going to be a very kind of, we're playing it by the books, especially if it was a 2D Metroid or whatever. And like, I expected to be underwhelmed by a little bit by whatever the new 2D Metroid was, just because we live in an era of like all-time greats of 2D Metroids. Games coming out constantly. There's too many of them that you can't play all of them. It's like, so I expected to be like slightly underwhelmed by whatever Metroid game, but I'm not. I think that this game, like, it certainly is a 2D Metroid. You'll pick it up and immediately know that. But I think it has a lot of other things going on between like melee shit like that or whatever. But like just like the stealth elements of it, the whole like, I think it feels way more like a horror game than Metroid. I think Metroid was always supposed to kind of be like that, but it comes across a lot more in this.
Something that just has captivated me when I've watched the Treehouse and stuff and like watching it now is just like how smooth Samus' movements are.
Yes.
It's so good looking.
Combat looks so fun. Like, did you see the boss fight in the part 2 the thing or whatever? Like, she just has so many cool abilities. Like, it makes, I remember playing the other Metroid, she can do 2 things. Like fucking it, you know. It's like there's, and I'm just surprised. Like, obviously the exploration I knew they would nail, but like the actual fighting and everything, I think looks sweet in this game. Yeah, I'm guessing.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. I'm in. I was probably going to be in whenever they announced a new 2D Metroid. At this point, did play Samus Return because by then I was sunsetting my 3DS. It might have lost it by that point. Immediately after my Switch came out. I got my Switch. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. I was hoping this was going to be anything because they've been rumors and they're pretty, I talked about Nintendo insiders and stuff, and a lot of them are BS, but there are those couple of them that I kind of like, okay, they're legit, and those same people were like, we should be getting a 2D we are getting a 2D Metroid game announced and releasing this year. I'm like, okay, give it to me. This came out, I'm like, fuck yes, let's go. But yeah, this game just looks really good, and I'm happy that the internet seems to generally agree this looks really good. But Daria, I am going to bring some questions to you that I've seen on the internet.
Yes.
That I'm curious about. How do you feel about how the graphics look? Because I've seen a lot of stuff about it looking cheap.
Yeah, there's definitely something I was going to touch on. Like, I definitely get where people are coming from when people don't like the art style with this. Like, I see it. I think it has a lot of similarities to like kind of cheaper type art styles that I don't like or whatever. Like, I see where people get that, but for me, I actually really, really, really like it, and I think I feel like it's gonna grow on some people. Some people it probably won't, but whatever. But like, like at first blush, it just does look. It's more of a simple art style, whatever. Especially when we've seen Ori and see these other things or whatever. So like at first blush, I see how you could feel that way. But like the more I look at it, I'm like, no, I think this is more of a choice, and it's more of a like these. Because of like the way the art style goes, these colors fucking pop. Like this like game has like that. It's like red, blue, white, and yellow. It's like that color palette, and I think it like is really, really cool looking and really interesting. And I think like just like the way that like the colors light up for like the robots and everything else like that, like it's somehow bright but also scary. Like it's a cool like. I don't know. I really, really like it. It does look. It's more simple, but it's fucking clean. It's like
I agree with you. You can look at like the fidelity of it might be a little lower than other Switch games, but I think they make it work. And again, like just the way Samus moves and all that kind of stuff, it's just so clean. I love it. It's like and so smooth.
Yes.
So you mentioned the horror vibe. So you were, I guess, all in with the L robot. Is that what they're called? I can't remember. Is that what they said? Like L or Ellie or some shit.
Yeah.
So you're all because I know you really, and I understand that's like I like it more than you do, but I understand why some people don't. It's like a tyrant Mr. X type thing.
Yeah.
But it seems like I haven't heard you really complain about.
No,
I'm worried about it.
I think I'm more into it in here. I mean, so I think it just works better in the Metroidvania where backtracking is the name of the game, and backtracking is. I don't know. Backtracking in Resident Evil 2 was not interesting to me. It was not interesting at all. In Metroidvanias, that is the game. It's very interesting. Yeah. And like something about like every time I've seen an encounter with it or whatever, the way that like you have to make decisions to move or whatever to try to like be faster than it seems very cool to me. I mean, like, maybe it could get old when you've like passed through the same area a bunch of times or whatever, and you've done the same sort of encounters. I could see that getting old, but at least like when I've seen here, and I've seen like the lady once or twice like made a mistake, like she jumped the wrong, like she hesitated for a second or whatever. It's like, oh fuck, he's right there. Oh fuck. Yeah. I think that could get really cool. And I don't know, something about like getting the pressure on you with a 2D platformer sounds a lot better than me than running around the physical environment. I just felt like with Mr. X, I was running in fucking circles. It was just not very interesting. Evading Mr. X was not interesting to me.
Also, like going to the animations for this thing, I just love how creepy it moves. Like when it goes up the walls and stuff to follow you.
Oh, and like the way it like lights up the thing, and you see other abilities later where like Samus is able to cloak herself, so the thing like is staring right at you. And then like walks away. It's like, oh god. It's cool.
Also, something it's a very nitpicky thing, but I'm curious. Just gonna bring up this shit. I've seen some people say that the robot design is very plain for something that, like the main one, is apparently immune to Samus' weapon, despite the fact that fucking Ridley and Kraid, it damages these guys.
Right. Yeah.
Think there's anything to like. You good with the design of these robots?
When people say that, I mean, I guess that they're not wrong there, I guess, or whatever. But I mean, like, it doesn't really bother me because we just know so little about these robots and stuff. I mean, like,
I'm with you there.
I think there could be a whole element to why they're so powerful that we just don't understand right now.
And we've definitely seen about an hour of footage from this game. There's still like so much more to see. And I'm very excited.
I kind of like the.
Kind of simplicity of it.
Yeah, and just the like this robot that you just don't know much about or whatever that's just like programmed to kill you is just like interesting to me. And the suit is just fucking dope. Just look at this.
Put it in Smash.
Look at the suit.
See, this is why they need to add costumes.
I love the color palette of this game so much. This that red,
and
blue,
we've seen very
yellow.
little of it. I know they don't do it here because I don't think she unlocked it yet. I just love the spider power or whatever when you climb up those blue walls and shit.
Okay, yeah.
Like, and just kind of what that can add to it and all that, and just whatever other abilities we get from this game.
And that boss fight that we saw, we've only seen one boss fight, but I think it looked really fun. So if the other boss fights are like that cool, then
I am honestly, that's the main L or whatever. That's. I think the other one you could break. Yeah, this one's indestructible.
That thing is creepy though. Like,
yeah,
I suppose it looks like a general robot, but the generic robot, but the way it moves, I think, is like really cool. Look at that thing. And
I think it's great.
These chase scenes and the like diving on their things.
I gotta say, generally, like I know you kind of like the like Ori and stuff, but I'm very pleasantly surprised you're this into the after seeing this.
Yeah, like the way that like he like.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh
But,
no,
like,
you're fine.
the way that like he's like, oh, he can't get me, and then he climbs up and goes over a thing. It's like, oh fuck, shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, but continue.
I was saying I'm very pleasantly surprised like how in you are to this 2D Metroid. I kind of figured when this rumor came out, I was like, I'd be into it, and you might be like, yeah, it looks cool, and may or may not get to it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, again, I think this has a lot of other things going on that are exciting me a lot. I was expecting something. I don't know. This just seems like it's a multifaceted game.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And like I didn't play, I don't even know which ones exactly I played. I mean, I think I played like Metroid 2 or something. There was like older Metroids. I don't know if I beat any of them, but like I really like the vibe of them and playing them. They kicked my ass, but like I still really enjoyed them.
I think I saw some people say, and people were doing it to like get Metroid Fusion or whatever, was I think the direct predecessor to this game. I think it's available on Wii U if you.
No, interesting. I'll probably just. I don't need it. I don't care about really if I know all the lore before it. I just really want to just play the game. It's more about vibe and gameplay to me. Which it has both of those in spades, I think.
Yeah, and like when I mentioned the spider thing, like you grab on that and it like takes you up and you shoot the stuff on the side, and I guess that's like
I just love that we're getting this game in October. I kind of hope that they don't show us too much more, because we've seen one boss fight and we've seen this one thing stalking us, and that's it. And I'm like, I'm excited to see what
I imagine the most that will happen. Like I don't expect this game to get its own direct like some games have in the past, because I think Nintendo's smart enough to know that it doesn't need that.
Shit! Look at that, right? I didn't even see. Okay, like just the darkness, the lighting and shit is really cool in this game. Yeah.
But I expect might get, because most normal years. I know this is a weird year. We may not get it. A September direct around September, where it'll just be one final trailer for this thing, and then some of the other games may get a new announcement or two to announce stuff for 2022. Maybe some more stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm expecting / hoping that might be the extent of new trailers for this game. They showed an hour of gameplay. We have the release date. What more do we need? Just another trailer to remind us this exists right before it comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should right now. You probably know if you want this game or not.
Yeah.
I mean, just already you would know that if you wanted Metroid or not. But I mean, again, I think this is adding enough that my biggest worry was just that this game would immediately feel outdone by all the other Metroidvanias that we get nowadays. But instead, I feel like this is giving us something different. It's a different vibe. It's not like the same thing you get from those other games. Like, I just immediately was thinking about Ori or whatever. It's like this whole like alien horror vibe, stealth, running away from this thing. There's nothing like that in Ori. I'm not saying better or worse. It's just different. I'm glad it's different. Yeah, that thing just like jumping at you out of nowhere, and it moves. And
just doesn't stop. It'll just go in whatever direction it's the closest to you.
Yep, and if you like jump, you think you're the furthest away, but it turns back that way. Like I think there's gonna be a lot of cool elements like that. Now I feel like I'm gonna get spooked when this thing gets me at some point. I'm gonna jump the wrong way, and it's gonna get me. It's cool. Like that when it's like it's really close to you, and you're like, oh shit.
Yep, good shit.
And there might be other things. He might not be the only thing stalking us.
True. When's Ridley showing up?
Yeah. Could happen.
All right, Dari, let's move on to the last game.
Let's do it. Last one.
Tinykin. I'm sure most people listening to this, watching this, have not heard of this game. I can't even remember where I saw it. So you're a kid from the future, and you're going to Earth for reasons I can't remember what they said. But naturally, you're going to Earth in the 90s, and you are very small.
Of course.
And you have these little pigment-ass creatures.
Oh, those are pigment. Yes.
And you're just going around a 90s house.
Nice.
And wait a second, I'll show you what kind of game it actually, or what the game looks like when you play it.
Oh, shit.
It is a 3D platformer, and I really like the art style. Like, just using these pigment-ass creatures to go around this house.
So he is another thing where he's kind of like 2D.
Yeah.
Slightly, but His model's not really 2D, but he's like,
like
he's running backwards. He's staring at the camera.
Yep. You do all these things and you jump, and this is a guitar, and you go in, and it's a bar for ants.
That's good. We got some It Takes Two vibes.
Yep. And yeah, and it's just what I've seen is like doing a bunch of crazy, unique things with it. And yeah, this is one of those things. Looks like it's going to have all the jolly vibes. I really like the art style they're going for with it. I think it's gonna be. It looks like a fun game.
Those are some jolly vibes. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that does look very neat.
Yeah, don't have too much to add to that. It's like, okay, let's get a like a game probably no one's heard of in here. Maybe to get.
We could always use cool 3D platformers.
Yes.
Never get enough of them.
It's true, and we don't. And yeah, I feel like especially since we're not getting a actual new Hitman game, I know it's not exactly the same thing, but yeah, you get at least some of those vibes. And so far, I guess they hint at the Hornet there. We don't really see much as far as like actual enemies.
No, yeah, you see platforming things.
Yeah, so I'm not against, but if they added some, I would not be too upset.
Hitman carrying you across the thing. Yeah, that's cool.
Yep. And apparently, the same in the trailer, like people just aren't around anymore, so we'll be seeing like giant people. You're just pretty much going around this house/room.
Humanity is gone.
Yep.
Oh shit.
So yeah.
Damn. Awesome.
Yep. Well, Darby, before we go, we got one more trailer to watch.
Okay.
Just one more. I think you know which one it is. I'm sorry, dear listeners, you will not know what this is, so I will do a play-by-play.
Please, everyone, go watch this trailer.
It's for Pal World.
All right, it's for Pal World. I'm going to stop it right here. Go watch this on your own. Pal World, PALWORLD.
One word.
Yeah, all one word. Please go watch that before you continue listening to this podcast. Just pause the podcast and go watch it.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You've now done that.
Darby, this trailer is insane. It starts like open world Pokemon, and suddenly, oh, your trainer has a gun. Like a normal Pokemon stuff. You're going out in the world. Oh shit, they're penguin things or whatever, building stuff. Okay, cool. You're building houses. Cool. You're working together with your Pokemon. Oh, cool. They make electricity. They're watering plants. They got these Wooloo-esque creatures. Oh, they're farming. That's cute. We got Harvest Moon. Oh shit, more guns.
Oh no.
Killing humans with guns, and your monsters are attacking. Oh, campfire. Oh, nice. You can fuse them. Or you can, never mind, not fuse them. Or not fuse them? I don't know. Then you got more guns. Your Pokemon creatures also have guns. Oh, you can use them as human shields against the guns. People with guns.
Is fucking unhinged, and I love it so much.
You got a rocket launcher. You destroy a building. Oh shit, you captured a bunch of them. Oh, you have them doing slave labor, making guns. You're hunting. More human, using the monsters as shields.
Oh my god.
Finding treasure. Fish, using... Yeah. This game.
Like it's such a amazing trailer because like it's paced so perfectly.
Yeah.
Where you just like it seems like it's okay.
It's like, oh, this is another quote unquote Pokemon clone. Oh shit, what's with the gun? Oh god, slave labor.
Yeah, Dark Sage says they have a question. Please ask away. You gotta ask the question. And yes, Moses, a Pal World. I think I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Even if we never play it, I want to watch streamers play this game.
Yes.
I feel like it's gonna get fucked up.
Yep.
It's beautiful. It's like done so, and like Pokemon's the perfect thing to like parody and act like you're doing, but then turn really dark because like everyone knows Pokemon, so everyone knows immediately what you're doing, and like. The thing about this game is the game that it was like masquerading as being is something that a lot of people would want.
Yeah.
So you probably do get a lot of people who are like, oh shit, this looks amazing. And then they see the guns are like, wait, what?
What's going on?
What's going on? How dark is this going to get?
And not too much darker than they show in the trailer. This might be its thing that's gonna fall back on.
I'm like concerned about the like factories where they have like the slave Pokemon, because they mentioned that in the description.
Don't use Wooloo as a shield. just throw it.
They're just completely destructible buildings. What the fuck?
You know.
And you like capturing the Pokemon to bring them back.
Yeah,
oh my god. Fucked up. Jesus.
They're your pals. Yeah.
Oh my god.
This is a good crunch.
Oh my god, so messed up. And that's where we're leaving our E3 coverage on Pal World.
That wasn't even announced at E3, but you know.
It's all the same to us. Who cares? Well, Jeff, do you have any parting words for E3 2021?
You know, it was pretty okay. I mean, obviously pandemic and that sort of stuff, but people should have known. Capcom shouldn't have been there. Square should have done something different. Whatever, I'm blanking. Borderlands people, no.
Gearbox.
Yeah, Gearbox, no.
It just seems like there's certain things. I'm not trying to act like I'm some genius who knows how to do all this, but there's certain things that seem like they're so obvious to not do or to avoid. Like, not like, who is making you do an E3 showcase if you don't have the shit to do it? And it's like Gearbox, they were fine. They showed Tiny Tina's Wonderlands or whatever in Keeley's thing. You're done. Go home. You're fine. You were like, everyone would have a good impression of you if you just fucking left it there.
I got to bring this up before we go because it is very funny and sad. They have the E3 awards. They did that shit. They literally had a category for most anticipated game for every conference.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
So if you paid money to be there, you get an award. Everyone gets an award. But I also found it funny, Ubisoft was a Nintendo game. It was a Mario game. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's E3.
Mixed bag. E3 definitely a mixed bag. I mean, it's... As far as like the ESA E3 or whatever, it's still kind of pointless. I mean, like half the really cool shit came from outside of that. Yeah. I am happy that even if we got a lot of the same shit that we shouldn't be getting, I'm at least glad it all happened in a few days. I mean, I am glad about that. I do still think this is an improvement over last year. Just in cohesion and structure, but still definitely has a lot of kinks to work out.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our E3 2021 coverage. I had a blast. It was a very fun time. Look forward to sometime in the next few days or so a bonus episode where we talk about, probably for maybe not quite as long, but probably still a full-length podcast on just what we've been playing, because it's a lot. It is a freaking lot. Jeff finished Resident Evil Village. We're both playing Ratchet and Clank. We've both played Guilty Gear.
We both played the Final Fantasy VII Remake DLC.
Yeah. God damn. Yeah, we have too much to talk about. We have demos
played like
that we're
four
gonna
demos.
Yeah, we have demos that we're gonna. I'm gonna play Sable. Just played a bunch of other demos. Whoo, baby, it's a lot. We got a lot. So strap in. Look forward to that in your feed. But until then, make sure you go check out our conference specific E3 thing if you just want more of our discussions. And yeah, that's it. So until next time, peace.
Bye.